Climate change. It's real, it's serious, and it's up to us to solve it. In the last 2 decades, we've experienced 14 of the hottest 15 years on record. By 2050, drought and chronic water shortages could impact 1 billion people, while millions more will be at risk from coastal flooding. It can seem overwhelming, but there's reason for hope. If we embrace solar and wind power to their full potential, we can cut the world's yearly carbon emissions by 1/3. Already, Germany generates 27% of its electricity from renewables, with a goal of 80% by 2050. Denmark has shown it's erasing the effects of 1,000 cars each day. Paris installed street tiles that harvest energy from foot traffic. Other cities are paving streets with smog-eating concrete and sidewalks with recycled materials. Individuals can make a difference too, through the choices we make every day. If every American driver drove 10 miles less each week, it could eliminate more than 100 billion pounds of carbon from the air each year. New innovations are making important strides possible, and more are on the way, but we can't wait. Reimagining our world's energy future will take a shared sense of urgency from countries, companies, cities, and all of us. Working together, real change is possible. Learn more at natgeo.com/climate.
Trees play a crucial role in mitigating climate change by serving as a natural solution to carbon dioxide, a major greenhouse gas responsible for global warming. They act as carbon sinks, trapping carbon from the atmosphere during photosynthesis and storing it in their biomass. A fully grown hardwood tree can absorb as much as 21 kilograms of carbon dioxide per year, or a ton in 40 years. A hectare of trees can hold around 50 tons of carbon, or around 180 tons of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Expanding forested areas and reforesting degraded lands, we enhance the planet's capacity to offset carbon emissions and help regulate the climate. Additionally, trees contribute to overall environmental health by releasing oxygen, fostering biodiversity, and providing habitats for various species. Planting trees and maintaining forests, therefore, not only addresses the immediate impacts of climate change, but also contributes to the long-term resilience of ecosystems.
Maka Kalikasan 2024 to everyone. We are now live in our GCFB page. Our pre-start program flow will begin with our Zoom etiquette, opening prayer, and the Philippine National Anthem. Maraming salamat po! Formally open our 2024 first Kamayan episode. Let us welcome Sister Susan Esmile to lead us in our opening prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Loving God, we come before you with humble hearts, recognizing the urgency of the climate crisis that our world faces. In the midst of uncertainty, we seek your guidance and wisdom to lead us toward sustainable solutions that honor and protect the intricate balance of nature. Grant us the strength to acknowledge the interconnectedness of all living beings and the responsibility we bear as stewards of this precious planet. May we, as a global community, unite in purpose and commitment to embrace nature-based solutions that offer hope and healing to our wounded earth. We pray for the leaders of nations and communities that they may be inspired to prioritize policies and actions that promote harmony with nature. Open their hearts to the beauty and wisdom embedded in the natural world and guide them to make decisions that safeguard the delicate ecosystems that sustain life. Bless those who work tirelessly in the field of science, research, and innovation. May their endeavors be guided by a deep respect for the environment, and may their discoveries pave the way for sustainable technologies and practices that restore balance to our climate. We lift up those most affected by the consequence of climate change, the vulnerable communities, the voiceless creatures, and the ecosystems on the brink of collapse. Grant them resilience, support, and the means to adapt in the face of adversity. As we navigate the challenges ahead, instill in us a sense of collective responsibility and a shared commitment to care for our common home. May our individual actions, no matter how small, contribute to the greater good and the restoration of our earth. In your boundless mercy, inspire a global awakening to the profound interconnectedness of life. Guide us towards a future where humanity and nature coexist in harmony and where our actions reflect a deep reverence for the sacred gift of creation. We offer this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, telas ng sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong bagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng katawan mo'y tagumpay na nag-iingin, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magtitingin. Lumang ang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, huwag langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya ng partay mga akin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang
Okay, good afternoon and Happy New Year. Welcome to episode 403 of the monthly Kamayan para sa Kalikasan Forum, the first for year 2024. We all hope this year brings peace to the world and tender loving care to Earth, our only home. For love of our Earth, Kamayan Forum is regularly brought to you every third Friday of the month by Green Convergence and Kamayan Restaurant. FYI, we are currently live streaming at the GC Facebook page, and a video recording of the proceedings will later be uploaded to the GC website and GC YouTube channel. I am your moderator, Marie Reyes Marciano of Green Convergence, Salika, etc., etc. And I'm very happy to introduce my co-moderator today. He is a director of the Lasallian Institute for the Environment or Life of De La Salle, Philippines, a consultant of the Environmental Management Bureau of DENR, and a member of the Board of Trustees of Green Convergence. It is a pleasure to partner with him again today, Mr. Mark Tinao. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon, Miss Marie, and good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be back here. I miss you so much, and I miss everyone. I think I missed a few sessions since last year. I think my last was October or
Yes, I
September.
think so.
So it's
September pa
it's
yata.
really
You were so
correct.
busy kasi.
It's
Very
really
busy.
imperative for me to be here today, and I'm happy to be back. And again, this is the 403rd session of Kamayan Forum. And thank you again for your kind introduction, Miss Marie. And before we move on to our program proper, I'd like to invite everyone to please jot down your names on our chat box, your affiliation, so you would be acknowledged now and later. So kindly write your name, your affiliation, and where you are right now on our chat box. At i-mention po natin later ang inyong mga pangalan and affiliation now or mamaya. And again, our Kamayan Forum is entitled, or we have a theme now as Institutionalizing Nature-Based Solutions to Address Climate Emergency. And of course, Happy New Year to everyone. It all means that New Year, so we have to have newer solutions, meaning more innovative and more sustainable solutions. And back to you, Miss Marie.
Thank you. Yeah, and now to give the opening remarks. Yan, masasabihin ko. We have someone who started his environmental work and advocacy attending the earlier days of this forum, because this forum is 34 years old. As a young student, if I remember right, I'm proud to say he has grown to be a strong and committed Earth defender. He is the recipient of the 2018 The Outstanding Young Man, or TOIM, of the Philippines Award. Today, stepping up climate and environmental action, he heads Living Laudato Si movement in the Philippines and is the national convener of Aksyon Klima Pilipinas. He co-founded Oeconomedia, that's hard to say, a faith-based news platform that produces and distributes original reporting about the environment, the climate crisis, and the global Laudato Si campaign of the Catholic Church. Let's give a warm Zoom applause to Mr. Rodney Galicia. Rodney, hi.
Hello, isang makakalikasang hapon sa lahat ng mga katahanan. This afternoon really, I think, will be very, very challenging for all of us. And I would like to welcome all of you to the Kamayan Forum. Kamayan Forum has been part of my ecological life.
Yeah.
And I've seen how many people and many advocates have been honed and formed dito sa hindi lang sa Kamayan Forum kundi lalo na nagkaroon ng green convergence. Napakahalaga ng pag-uusap ngayong hapon dahil hindi lamang climate change ang pag-uusapan natin. At ang sinasabing nature-based solution, marami tayong perspectives, no? At marami ding mga agreements o kasunduan na pang-internasyonal ang nakaapekto dito, no? Tulad ng Convention on Biological Diversity, tulad din ng United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. At hindi lang yan, no? Nandiyan, malapit naman magkaroon ng UNEA, no? Yung United Nations Environment Assembly. So magkakaugnay-ugnay ang lahat. At kung makikita natin sa adaptation and mitigation strategies ng ating bansa, ano, Nandiyan yung forestry, nandiyan yung biodiversity. Ano nga ba talaga ang tunay na solusyon nang hindi naapektuhan ang karapatan ng mga mamamayan, ng mga katutubo, ang karapatan ng kalikasan, because now we have this emerging na discussion on the rights of nature. So, ano ang perspective ng pamahalaan? Ano ang perspective ng mga non-government organizations? Ano naman ang pagtingin ng mga lokal na pamayanan? Papaano natin i-define ang nature-based solution? Sabi nga, ika nga ng iba, hindi ito nature-based solutions, ito ecosystems-based solution. Ano nga ba talaga ang tunay na solusyon na hindi nasasakripisyo ang kapakanan ng susunod na henerasyon at kapakanan ng kalikasan ng atin namang tinutugunan ang problema at hamon ng kasalukuyan. Ito ang ating pag-uusapan sa hapong ito at sana ay matututunan natin ang mga ibabahagi ng ating mga speakers at atin itong isabuhay. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Rodney. Wow, you've come a long way. Naalala ko pa nung may gatas ka pa sa labi, nag-a-attend ka ng Kamayan Forum. Di ba? Di ba, no? So anyway, yes, it's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be a very, very interesting discussion. Dapat talagang matuto tayo from our resource speakers, our esteemed guests. But before we move on, I would like to talk about the program flow, no? Para we're on the same page and we know what's going to happen, okay? Our program is divided into two parts, major parts, no? The first part is when we listen to all the resource speakers make their presentations. During that time, we are not allowed to ask questions. We are going to ask all our questions in the second part, that's the open forum. However, for today, we are going to make a slight adjustment to that because our first guest speaker has to attend to another important activity. And so we are going to do Q&A right after his presentation for his topic. Okay, and then we're going to revert to the old format where we will listen to the next three other speakers before we proceed to open forum. I hope that's clear. And Mark has some guidelines for you too.
Thank you, Miss Marie. Crystal clear. Before I share with you the participants' guidelines, I'd like to acknowledge our participants online and here on Zoom. Mr. Rabindranath Porzuelo from Notre Dame of the Jangas University. Hi, Sir Rabin. Good afternoon. All the way from Jensan. And good afternoon also to Cecil Gascon of Bulacan State University and the Philippine Network of Educators on Environment. Of course, good afternoon to Mr. Jeffrey Guinness or Hines from Philippine Normal University, Ilagan City, Isabela. Marjorie Asuncion, Wonderful Grace Learning Center from Quirino, Isabela. Miss Alice Panares, GSP, Girl Scout of the Philippines, NCWP, National Council of Women of the Philippines or NCCA. Good afternoon. And Miss Linda Gonzalez of NCWP, Director and NFWC President. Happy New Year too. And we have more, of course, Miss Olive Villapuerte, Asian Institute of Journalism and Communication. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to all our Facebook viewers as well. And as mentioned by Miss Marie earlier, I'd like to share with you our participants' guidelines. I'm sure you have heard this many, many times, but as a customary practice, I will share it with you. To avoid distracting ambient noise, all participants are requested to keep your microphones on mute for the duration of the webinar, except during the open forum, when participants are welcome to speak and ask questions. Meantime, you may use the chat box for comments or your remarks, reactions, or messages. And that would be all, Miss Marie.
Oh, thanks for those reminders, Mark. Lagi nga, pero it has to be said, di ba?
Correct, correct.
So now we're all set to listen and learn from our first speaker of the year, who will delve on the significance and challenges of the NBS, or the nature based solutions. He is a member of the Board of Trustees of the Foundation for the Philippine Environment, the first and largest grant making organization for civil society environmental initiatives in the Philippines. In addition, he was elected corporate secretary of the FPE Board of Trustees and serves as the chair of the Knowledge Management Committee. Recently, he led the organizing of the online capacity building on peatland fire prevention and management and post-fire peatland restoration. Friends, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Jerome Montemayor. Good afternoon,
Hi,
Jerome.
magandang hapon po sa lahat, maupayang kulop, and isang makakalikasang pagbati sa lahat. So, it's an honor to be invited again at
Suki.
first speaker for the year. Oh my gosh, pleasure.
Yeah.
But I know I am among friends, so kahit pa paano nababawasan ng aking kaba. Pero nakita ko yung pangalan ng aking teacher, bigla akong kinabahan uli. Hi, Ma'am. Hi, Ma'am Nina Galang. Yeah. May I share my screen? I prepared a few slides, and I apologize for yung disrupting our usual flow sa Kamayan. Ano po, not that there are any other important events other than yung ating Kamayan Forum. I think this is, if not the most important, a really highlight of our, yung first salvo for 2024. Kaya lang po, yung one of our team members, kapamilya namin dito sa Foundation for the Philippine Environment, she lost her mom, so please include her mom's yung in your prayers. Kaya po ako wala kasi kami po ay makikiramay sa sa yumaong ina ng aming kasamahan. So kung wala po 'yon ay hindi po ako aalis. I will be with you all the way. So please accept my apologies. So I hope that despite that I will be leaving early, I hope that I can still share some meaningful insights and information that might help everyone, especially those who are considering going into nature-based solutions, or if you're into nature-based solutions and perhaps you need some kind of support from FPE, then this session is for you. So, but before I start my sharing and presentation, I'd like to throw a challenge, a quiz of sorts, no? That which I hope not just after my presentation, but I think yung ating kaibigan, yung pinakagwapo yatang abogadong pangkalikasan na kakilala ko, no? Ay, naku, baka may magalit. Attorney Ping's presentation later. Masagot natin, makapag-reflect tayo kung ano nga ba ito. Kasi we always talk about nature-based solutions as if it's something new and it's something parang innovative. I'd like to burst our bubbles. This is really nothing new. If we go back to Dr. Nina Galang's lesson in day one of our masters in Miriam College, unang-unang tinulo niya yung environmental principle number 1, nature knows best. So sino pa bang tatalo sa nature-based solution other than our very own Mother Nature? So ako, china-challenge ko, or napapa-reflect ako, and I don't know, maybe you can also take a look into this, no? Nature-based solution nga ba or natural solution? Kasi when we talk about nature-based solution, parang it's something that we invented and something that we sort of as humans or as people came up with, and yan ang ginagawa natin kasi we feel that it's the better alternative to other solutions, technology solutions, infrastructure solutions. But if you think about it, it's already there. The best solutions which we refer to as nature-based solutions, are actually natural solutions that has already been invented by nature itself, and they are already there. People we people tend to disrupt them to begin with. So so the quiz is, what are we going after? Nature-based solution or natural solution? So, or is it an or? Maybe it's both, no? Okay, so but the question for this afternoon's Kamayan, and the first at that for the year, of many, many more years, I hope, ay institutionalizing nature-based solutions in climate emergencies. So, kung hihimayin-himayin po natin ito, very loaded title. No? Institutionalizing, what does it mean? Nature-based solution, I already did a little intro at sort of a quiz or a challenge to all of us to reflect on, especially we're starting a new year, and the start of a new year is always a very good opportunity for us to reflect on how we will move forward. And the climate emergency. Okay. Do we need any further introduction? We are the shock absorber of the impacts of the changing climate. No, is there anything else that we don't know? Diba? Tayo yun eh. As a country, as a people, we're the ones. We're not the only ones, of course, no, but especially during extreme weather events like a super typhoon. Ano yan, tayo yon. But do we really want to normalize it na yan na, tanggapin na lang natin, or do we need to act now or yesterday? Okay. So, let's, oh, bakit nag-start sa end? Sorry. Let's start from, let's begin with the end in mind. Okay. So, to institutionalize is to make it a norm. No? But which part of the title do we want to make it to make a norm? O yung, or maging parang normal, or hindi na bago, or yun na, part na ng kultura, part na ng pag-iisip natin, at it's sort of automatic. It's there na. You don't even have to think about it. Is it the nature-based solution, or is it yung dealing with climate emergencies? Like extreme weather events, floodings, drought, and many other more zoonotic diseases. Oh, by the way, baka nakalimutan na natin, we just went through 2 years of being stuck in our house or wherever we were trapped, no? Connected ba yan sa climate crisis? Probably, no? Now, to institutionalize is to make it part of the normal, or part of the norm, or part of policy, or part of day-to-day things, something we don't need to force, no? Because it goes beyond introduction or awareness, and it's embedded not just in practice but in culture, and it's generally accepted. Kaya on a segue, violence, if it becomes a norm or nagiging nanonormalize, it's scary, di ba? Kasi parang yan na ba? Ganyan na ba tayo ngayon? Di ba? So it's a choice. Now, when it comes to nature-based solution, it is again a choice. Do we go for natural or nature-based solution, or do we go for technology-driven or infrastructure-driven solutions? And are they the right solutions to begin with? Next, we talk about nature-based solutions all the time, but do we really have the same definition as a country or as people around the globe? No? So IUCN in 2016 offers sort of a definition, or a working definition. So actions to protect, sustainably manage, and restore natural or modified ecosystems that address societal changes effectively, adaptively, simultaneously providing human well-being and biodiversity benefits. So I think some key concept dito na hindi hiwalay yung human well-being and biodiversity benefits. Now, are we all in agreement, or do we have our own sort of take as to what nature-based solutions are all about? No. But okay, just so we have a starting point, let's take a look at the definition on the screen. No? So nature-based solution or NBS, teka, may NBS sa Pilipinas, National Bookstore. But nature-based solution realizes the importance of a healthy environment as a response to major social issues, including human health, biodiversity loss, at ito, namamaster na tayo, PhD na tayo dito disaster risk reduction and management, and climate change, among many other things. This prompts the need to conserve, protect, and sustainably manage nature. But can we really manage nature? Or can we just simply support what nature has already designed for us and find that sweet harmony, no? And then it should be a co-beneficial relationship between nature and society. So yung tao o sa katauhan hindi hiwalay sa kalikasan. Iisa sila. No? And some examples, we can protect forests that can offset human hunger and poverty, or we protect our marine ecosystems or wetland ecosystems, and they provide for sustenance and other services that are a part of life as we know it. Institutionalized plus nature-based solution. So putting these two terms together, we'd end up with eventually what we term as sustainable development. Parang is another take on a familiar term and something that we, in principle, normalized a long time ago. But of course, in practice, still a lot of work ahead of us. No? It involved integration into policies, laws, and planning systems, no? Not in different planning platforms at the national, local levels, both in government, civil society, and business. And looking towards the direction of nature conservation, no? This should become second nature, no? Once it's established. Again, ito yung textbook definition, but from our personal experience as environmental champions, hindi ito second nature. Should be primary nature. Yun na nga yung popular term sa Pinoy, sa Pilipinas, diba? Kailangan pa bang i-memorize yan? Dapat alam na natin yan. Ginagawa na natin yan. It should be as easy and as simple as breathing air, the air that we need to survive. Iniisip mo ba nahihinga ka? So parang dapat ganon. When you say institutionalized, should be as automatic as our heart beats every second and we don't even think about it. Just happens. Kaya ba yun? Pwede ba? Pwede kaya? Baka naman. Okay. So, what's the impetus? Bakit ba natin kailangan? Last year, the hottest year ever recorded. Anyone who believes that this will be the worst of it, if we don't act now, kung may naniniwala doon, nako po, wake up, kababayan. If you don't institutionalize nature-based solution and if you don't act to conserve biodiversity and address the climate crisis, we're not gonna see things get better soon, no? But there's hope, no? Nature-based solution can provide 37% of climate mitigation. Here are some of the key things: carbon sequestration, water purification, disaster risk control. So the present status of climate challenge. So a global climate, so yung Copernicus Climate Change Service, na global climate watchdog, ito daw, no, sila yung nagtatrack, and they saw that last year was by far the hottest year, no? So na breaking records in terms of global temperature. That's alarming, no? Kasi di ba, that's the scenario that we don't want to be in. But are we there yet doon sa maintaining 1.5 degrees uh, uh, global average temperature. And even at 1.5 degrees, ba, it's still too close for comfort. Maybe we're, cutting it too close. Uh, Itong climate emergency na to, the human race is the one facing, uh, the most risk. Well, together with other uh, biodiversity on the planet. No? But I think we have the most to lose if we do not act. No, we might be creating our own extinction. But yung nga, no, not naman to start the 2024 with parang panakot, but I think just facing the reality. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, no, but maybe it also requires some reminders to all of us na kasi kung minsan, ito na yung ginagawa natin but maybe sometimes we need to get reminded, uy, uh, there's clear and present danger. So what can nature-based solution do for climate emergency? So carbon sequestration, picture in my back, this is peatlands, and if it may look foreign to you, don't think it's somewhere outside the Philippines. This is in our home court. To, no? This is one of the peatlands, one of 26 peatlands of the country, and one of the wetlands in the Philippines. Carbon sequestration. So if we protect and restore our wetlands, forests, and other habitat that serves as carbon sinks and carbon stores, um, we're off to a promising future, no? Kasi ito, nature-based solution, nandyan na sila. You don't have to build a lot of stuff. You don't have to invent a lot of technologies. It's already there. All we need to do is allow them to do their jobs, which is simple. Let them live, let them do what they do best, which is absorb carbon and not just absorb, store them for life. Yes, may forever, so long as we don't disrupt their ecology. And it's not just, hindi lang yun, no? They also serve as habitat for our rich biodiversity. And for us, especially those living in urban areas, where do you think we get our waters, no? We get it from our forests, our wetlands, and other yung sa ating mga watershed areas. So it's not just protecting or absorbing carbons and storing them. They also help in water purification, and if they can absorb carbon, they can also help in mitigating and avoiding disasters because they act as natural flood control system, absorbing water that would have otherwise run off and flooded urban areas. And nowadays, hindi lang urban areas ang binabaha. I think we heard some news, sad news that some portions of the Davao region were flooded, no, just a few days ago. If my Marites is correct, no, sorry, sa dami ng trabaho, hindi na ako talaga balita real time, no, but just last December, we barely escaped flooding, no, because we were in northern Samar, and alam naman natin nangyari sa Northern Summer last year. Hindi nga yun malakas na typhoon, but a lot of areas were flooded and a lot of lives affected. So nature-based solution is truly one of the simplest and most effective, and I dare say one of the most cost-effective, if not the cheapest solutions to addressing climate change through carbon sequestration and storage. Okay. Okay. Mark, remind mo lang ako ng time. Alam mo na, pag ginanahan mag-story, dire-diretso na ako. So, here's some good news. No? FPE believes that by working together, we can all pitch in addressing biodiversity loss and the climate crisis. And maybe some of you have already heard of the news that we have new thematic pathways and some new flagship programs that we believe can contribute to our efforts to address the climate crisis through nature-based solution, and not just parang showcase, but institutionalizing nature-based solutions uh, across sectors and in the different platforms of governance and programming, both in government, civil society, and business. So for those who are not familiar with us, Foundation for the Philippine Environment, or FPE, we are a grant giving uh, NGO. We're also an NGO, but our role is to provide grants, catalyze cooperation, and to facilitate financing for conservation, and nowadays also not just conservation but also climate action. So we provide financial resources to people's organization, NGOs, and other civil society organizations, including academia, and more recently, youth organizations through our Youth for Biodiversity. And we believe in promoting and pursuing nature-based solutions, especially in together with local communities, indigenous peoples included, and other sectors of society, fishers, farmers, women. And through the grants that we give, we believe that we contribute to mainstreaming and institutionalizing nature-based solutions in both at the national and local levels. Actually, just before I logged in, I had a meet. We were meeting here in FPE with DNR Biodiversity Management Bureau, because we are part of the effort to assess and update our Philippine Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. Kami ni Attorney Ping, mga regulars kami doon na nagpa-participate together with other CSOs and counterpart in government. And I believe nature-based solution is among the key elements of our Philippine Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, which we're updating because of the Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. So we're using our grants facility in order to support the effort of civil society and allow them to participate and meaningfully be part of the effort to use nature-based solution as a intervention in addressing biodiversity loss and addressing the climate crisis. So I don't know how much time I still have. No? Just prompt me. So we have 7 new pathways. But yung direct I'll show them, but I'll focus on ecosystem, yung number 1. I think this is where we contribute the most. But nature-based solution is integrated in all 7. But I think doon sa number 1 and number 2, that's where it's strongly articulated. So ecosystems conservation, providing support to the different types of ecosystems, including those that are, sorry for the term, quite neglected, no, because they're not as popular as the other ecosystems. So we support conservation, especially of community-based conservation efforts in the marine ecosystems, wetlands, peatlands, and terrestrial ecosystems, and others, no? Caves, may miss out ba ako? Pakidagdag nyo na lang, baka may na-miss out ako. But any and all ecosystems that we have in the country, we can be there to support you. Yung number 2, it's also nature-based solution. Kasi if we just focus on ecosystems level diversity and species level diversity, and we don't look at genetic diversity, we lose one of our strengths, no, in ensuring our diversity of life. And the more diverse life is, or yung flora and fauna natin, and even the types of ecosystems that we have, no, the more stable and the more resilient we are as a country. Yan. Now, we can talk more about this in a different forum, or if you're interested, you can find naman how you can reach out. You can reach us. Now we're always open. I have 5 minutes to go, and I'm actually just wrapping up na rin. So yung bago, and kung hindi pa kayo nakabalita, this is a good opportunity for me to share. We have this hashtag Youth for Biodiversity. This is our flagship program now in FPE that provides opportunity for mentorship, and direct support to youth organizations all over the country. So the mechanics is simple. If you have a biodiversity conservation or climate action related project idea, and of course we would love it if these are nature-based solutions or natural solutions to biodiversity loss and the climate crisis, we can support your youth organization so that you can pursue your initiative. So you don't have to be registered to be able to participate. I mean, registered in SEC or DOLE or other government institutions. Uh, of course, there are advantages if you are already registered, no, but it's not a requirement. We will find a way to provide that funding support to you, so long as you offer innovative and impactful solutions as a youth, uh, in addressing and addressing biodiversity loss and climate crisis through nature-based solutions, among other things. No? So meron pa kami natitirang slots. So kung may youth dito sa room, you're most welcome to join. No? Yan. May sample sana ako, pero I don't think I have time, but you can just follow us in our social media pages, and you can find out more about the projects, the nature-based solution projects that we have supported among the youth and non-youth. Yeah. So again, no, we believe that this is important, institutionalizing nature-based solutions in climate change. But again, I throw back the question, should it really be nature-based, or should it be natural solutions that we should be pursuing, or maybe both of them, plus more, in order to ensure that we have a continued rich diversity, and for the climate crisis to be addressed. So on behalf of the new set of Board of Trustees of the Foundation for the Philippine Environment, led by our chair, Dr. Hailey Kiawit, and our vice chair, Dr. Jessie Manuta, and the others, and meron kaming celebrities award, the Ramon Magsaysay Awardee, and also a favorite speaker here in Kamayan Forum, si Kadodoy, has recently joined the FPE Board of Trustees. And of course, yours truly, on behalf of the management and staff of FPE, thank you very much. And for those who were able to co-celebrate with us our 32nd anniversary, we would like to give our heartfelt thanks for your continued support, and for choosing us as a partner for your initiatives. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very much, Doc Jerome. Actually, you're all celebrities there in that picture.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you.
All right. I think before we move on to our next speaker, we will be entertaining now the questions from our participants here on Zoom and via Facebook. And I think I see one from our chat box. Good afternoon. Any finance for islands or small communities from FPE, Doc Jerome, specifically for in green economies?
Yes. We do have yes, yung small island ecosystem is one of our area of interest. In fact, we're talking to our partners in BARM, no, as far as Turtle Islands, down south, no. We're fostering some partnerships there, no? So yes, that's included in the path yung ating first pathways, yung ecosystems uh, conservation. No? And yes, we do have preferential options for small communities, community-based efforts. And yung sa blue and green economy, hindi ko na na-discuss kanina but maybe in another forum, I can share more about it. But it falls under what we call conservation enterprises. I
I
hope
hope
Nancy, I
answered.
was able to answer your question, and you can we can talk more about this if you're located near FP. You can you can set up a visit. Set up a visit. We're always open. Kaya lang ako kasi kung minsan nahihila ko in different forums, so baka wala ako. Just give us a ring, and we would be happy to sit down with you and talk more about this. At not just kay Randy, yung iba pang colleagues natin sa Green Convergence.
Thank you so much.
By the way, part of our contribution, uh, we are now fully renewable energy, at least during daytime. So we're now using solar power system to run the office.
Correct.
Part
I
of our
have a
humble
Great.
question actually,
contribution.
Doc Jerome. I hope you don't mind. I'm not sure if it's going to be an awkward question, but if by any chance would you be able to give us at least a range regarding with your youth biodiversity small grant or maybe medium or big grant range so we would have any idea?
Okay. Yes. So yung we have different tiers. Can you give me a second? I'll try to open I have a
Sure, sure.
slide para maybe you can take uh, a screenshot. Wait lang Buksan ko lang yung file. Nasaan kaya yun?
Okay, while waiting, we are inviting also our participants from Facebook to please feel free to ask your question or send your questions to our FB Messenger so we'll be able to throw the question to our speaker.
Yes, while he's here.
Correct, correct.
Ayan, nahanap ko na yung slide ko. Okay. Ayan. So, these are our current grant levels and limits. As of August last year. No? So for the hashtag Youth for Biodiversity, because these are mostly startup youth organizations. Some are more mature na. They've been in operations for quite a number of years na. But we normally start them off with up to 100,000 pesos. And with 100,000 pesos, ang dami na nilang magagawa. Some are even using our grants not just for conservation and climate action, but also to build peace among warring tribes. So ginagamit din nila yung biodiversity conservation effort as a way uh, to to build trust and confidence and nurture peace in their area. So that's one. Yung small grants for people's organization and indigenous peoples, we provide up to 500,000 pesos. We have a small grants of up to 500,000 pesos. Now, what's the difference kung pareho lang yung amount? Iba yung lens namin for people's organization and indigenous peoples. We are even open to accepting non-written proposal but video recorded proposals from people's organization and indigenous peoples. We'd like to break barriers. Alam naman natin, even for professional or NGOs, challenge yung pagsusulat ng proposal. So, paano pa yung ating mga maliliit na community, sabi nga ni Randy, yung small communities, no? So, we don't want yung skill to write proposal to become a barrier. So, we're open to that. Kaya, although the amounts are the same, we have different mechanics and extra effort kami to reach out to POs and IPOs. Yung small grants up to grant level 4, these are generally for well-organized civil society organizations. So small grants, yung paboritong applyan ng Green Convergence sa mga iba't ibang activities natin last year. And I know may mga nakapila na uli kayo for 2024. So nag-aantay lang kami. Dati naalala nyo, Mark and Ms. Marie, no?
Yeah.
Hanggang 200,000 lang tayo no mga previous
Yeah.
year. So now
Yeah.
it's up to 500,000. I think we can do
Yay!
more, no? Yung grant level 1 is up 500,000 and one up to 1 million pesos. And then yung grant level 2 is up to 5 million, grant level 3 is up to 10 million, and in exceptional cases beyond 10 million, we're open to that, but medyo the higher the amount, mas sophisticated yung pagdadaan nating process. But we
Yeah.
try to cut yung
Red tape.
tawag dito, yung bureaucracy,
Yeah.
And one thing that we have started during the pandemic with our youth, and now it's mainstream, it's not just a paper proposal that will, facilitate the application. We now provide a platform where you can present your proposal live online sa aming staff and board of trustees who will decide whether it's approved or not. But it's not just about deciding whether it's approved or not, but it's also to provide some technical support in order to enhance the proposal if needed. If not, then right there and then you will get your answer, whether it's a go or no go. So mabilis po kaming just last 2 days ago, yung ating partner from Palawan, an IP partner of ours, presented their pitch for their project. And I think one of the pioneers in this process was Ma'am Nina Galang and Ma'am Tessa Oliva. If you remember, you were the ones who presented for was it the Green Sauna proposal last year? Yeah.
Most likely, yeah.
So we already thank you for being our pilot. Now it's mainstream na, institutionalized, to borrow the term that we're using for this Kamayan session. I hope I was able to answer the question.
Thank
Pwede
you
nyo
very much for
siya.
that.
Yeah,
Correct.
and you can sa website namin yung templates and formats
Mukhang
if you
wala na namang questions, Mark, di ba? I don't see anyone. I
Correct.
I went through the gallery, wala namang raised hand, which is good because we only have 3 minutes left. So, kung may
Exactly.
magpapahabol ng question,
Marie, pwede lang
Ma'am Marie,
mag-brief
meron yata
konti.
si Lala. Yung qualifications, may the details are in our website.
oh,
But
you mean,
generally, you have to be for non-youth, you have to be a registered organization. But again, kung sakali na you're a people's organization and you're not registered, what we do is like similar sa reforestation. Sometimes you need a nursery that will, help you, get start up, no. So pwedeng magpa-partner kayo with a more established organization. They have the legal registration. We will course through the funds through them legally, and for the time being that you still don't have your registration, but part of the deal would be sana before our project support ends, nakapag-register na kayo para next time you can apply directly with FPE.
And I think also that also answers the question of from Bulso, Cecilia Gascon. I think no
Yes,
questions
student
from
organizations can apply. In
good.
fact, we have actually all of them, hindi man all, many of them are actually student organizations, school-based, community-based organizations. So, kaya lang Bulso is State University, no? So, kasi we cannot give through government. So, baka meron kayong foundation or a partner NGO, so pwedeng doon sila yung magiging assisting organization for your student org. And we hope na makatanggap kami ng proposal from Bulsu
Okay. I see a raised hand from Gwen.
Hi, Gwen. Long time no see.
Happy New Year. Kaya babati ako kasi aalis ka na. Tapos pangalawa, yun nga, happy anniversary, happy New Year. And then to
Maraming
FPE.
salamat.
And then I'm reminded one of my first projects, yung mga small time na mga nag-MA ata ako nung when FPE was starting. Anyway. And then yung second ko, kasi aalis ka eh. So wala ka siguro sana ang suggestion ko, maybe meron tayong another continuing conversation about this. So yan, masasubmit na kami. Another round table for this siguro and maybe involving some people in the academe or some of the religious groups siguro. Let's see. And then yung next ko, ang galing nyo solar walk the talk. Very good.
Yes,
So,
long overdue. In fact, dapat patagal na. Pero better late than never.
sige,
Pero
dalaw
late pa
kami
rin.
dyan. Tagal ko na rin hindi
But
nakadalaw. Sana nga excited ako makita yung inyong solar. And then, yan. Okay, padayon.
Thank you, thank
sige,
you, thank you
Gwen.
very much. Of
Oo.
course,
Okay.
in the interest
And
of time, I think we only have 1 minute, ba 2 minutes.
No,
Miss Marie, you
we're
Teka,
have
pwede ba
overtime by 1
mag-picture? Ay,
minute na.
sorry.
1 minute
Pwede
overtime
ba
na tayo.
mag-picture bago malis si Dr. Jerome yung mga speakers with the host? Okay lang? Kaya ba yon? Hindi.
We
Spotlight?
have to change our schedule again. Okay, pwede naman. I
Okay lang
think that's
kasi
that's
aalis na siya
doable. We are going to do our souvenir
Violet,
photo shoot.
ipipm na lang kita. Baka sabihin may favoritism kami. We went through a bidding process, by the way. So, but I can share with you who won and who became our supplier. Ang clue lang doon is they gave us a 30-year warranty on the panels. 10-year warranty on all the electronic parts. So, yun. That's why they won.
Okay.
alright. Sige, please.
Our Zoom
Okay.
host, Maribeth
Yes, thank you
Villa.
po.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much, Doc Jerome. And again,
Thank you.
Thank you so
congratulations
much
on
for
the
having us,
maiden
Seju.
celebration.
And yeah, walang 32 years ng FPE kung wala kayo, mga partners namin. So thank you very
Actually,
much.
ang Kamayan pala is just 2 years older than FPE. We're going to celebrate our 34th anniversary this March. Yeah.
Okay. We hope to be part of it again. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much for coming and joining us.
Sylvia, pasyal na
Thank
lang
you.
kami sa MO
Oo,
as
we need to
ESSC.
talk, especially indigenous people. So I'm very happy with what you've shared.
Yes. We can
hello po.
drop by next week.
Sige,
I'll
sige.
message you. Bye, everyone. Sorry ha,
Bye,
na-disturb ko yung
Jerome.
program.
Oh,
But
it's
I know
okay,
you
Jerome.
understand naman.
We can
Okay.
adjust.
Thank you po.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now moving on to our second speaker this afternoon to talk about critical perspectives about nature-based solutions. Our speaker this afternoon is currently the Executive Director of the Institute of Environmental Science for Social Change, or ESSC, a Jesuit environmental research organization that promotes environmental sustainability and social justice through integrating scientific methodologies and social processes, networking across the Asia-Pacific region in moving an agenda of science for sustainability. Please welcome Miss Sylvia Mikla.
Okay, salamat Mark. Wow, I think buti na lang nakuha mo yan sa website because perfect. Yeah, I'm not sharing any slide, I think, because mas maganda tong kwentuhan. Jerome has shared a lot, I think, in relation to what NBS is. Pero una muna, isa ring makakalikasang bati ngayong bagong taon. Mahikigaya na ako sa inyo, ha? And thank you for inviting me to this 403rd episode of Kamayan. So that's an achievement, and I'd like to congratulate the group. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share. Tessa and Gwen got in touch, and I said, sige, I have some stories that I might be able to share. So as Mark said, I'm with ESSC, it's a Jesuit research institution. We also assist yung Apo Palamguan Cultural Education Center. It promotes culture-based education, multilingual education. We run an indigenous school and go on youth training programs. Now, at the global level, which is very important in this because NBS came from, in a way, a global, sa UNFCCC to, di ba? in 2009 when it first appeared. We also operate Eco Jesuit. It's a global ecology network of Jesuits and also other institutions working with the Jesuits. And at the same time, we also have, we're trying to explore an ecclesial network for Asia and Oceania. So trying to work with the bishops and the local communities in Asia and Oceania, understanding that the river above Asia and Oceania is determined by the Pacific Ocean, which is the largest global determinant of our climate in a way at this time. So yon. Of course, we are grounded by Laudato Si, by what Pope Francis has put out in the encyclical in 2015. Many of you might be familiar with that. And of course, his latest exhortation, which is Laudate Deum, which is particularly focused on COP28, asking global leaders na pwede ba gumalaw naman kayo? Parang ganun na yung push ni Pope Francis. I'd like to go back a little bit to what Jerome mentioned earlier. No, NBS as a term is a no-brainer, di ba? Parang okay, it's nature-based solution. How can you go wrong in it? Local interventions that FEP are undertaking, I'm very happy because they're involving indigenous peoples, local communities. So precisely in the Philippines, where we are, where our hotspots in a way have local communities in them, many of them with indigenous peoples, as well as globally. If you look at the Amazon, madami dyan, the areas that are critically endangered also include critically endangered culture-based communities. So nung nilabas ng IUCN, I think what Jerome put out in the slide, no, 'di ba, meron yung definition ng NBS. Nagkaroon ng mga konting mga reactions, comments, pananaw in relation to that. So with that, I will share in 4 sections. One is what we think are 4 areas of NBS that need more clarity and rigor. The role of indigenous peoples and traditional knowledge that contribute to climate action, and where we see culture-based solutions as the true NBS because they're more inclusive and socially acceptable. Towards the last part, I'll just share with you, just a link, I won't share with you, but ESSC did a 16-minute documentary showcasing how a culture-based solution in agroecology is contributing to climate action by an indigenous community in Upper Pulangi, Bukidnon. Just an example. I'll just share the link later. So, ito nga, nung sometime when that definition appeared, it seems naging ano siya, it's widely used. It became controversial because some of its most enthusiastic supporters included industries and governments who were responsible for much of the historical and ongoing damage to the planet and communities worldwide. So doon nagkaroon ng medyo kiskisan, 'di ba? Gawa napaka-broad ng definition. So therefore, if we are looking at NBS to play an effective and transformative role in driving financial and technical support where it is most needed, we are looking at, you know, these 4 areas. First, it needs to highlight and give very critical importance to culture and secure their land and resource rights. Alam naman natin, marami sa ibang mga culture-based communities, hindi secure yung kanilang pag-aari dun sa lupa. Who owns the land? So, we also need to avoid that this becomes just an offsetting of emissions and biodiversity loss. You know, we'll continue our extractive activities kasi nagpa-plant naman kami dito sa isang part ng mundo. So, we don't want that to become a phenomenon of NBS. There is a need really to put human rights-based conservation approach and sustainable use in the nature-based solution if we are going especially to use technology. And where especially indigenous peoples are, we must need to ensure that human rights are not violated. So it's very critical and important. So if these are part of the institutionalization, as you're calling it, then that would be very good because these are 4 areas that have been identified before. Ngayon, ang ano nga, why are indigenous people so important in this? Because they safeguard 80% of the world's biodiversity while representing 6% of the world's population. Kaya yung paggamit nila ng natural resource to protect nature and help communities can build resilience to climate change. So they are one of the best guardians of global biodiversity if supported. Now, more than 20% of the carbon stored in forests is found in land managed by indigenous peoples. So therefore, that preserves vital carbon pools, which continuously capture carbon dioxide, of course, and thus reduce climate change impacts. Now, how do we understand ba traditional knowledge or land management practices ng indigenous peoples? So mostly, they bear the brunt of the climate emergency kasi sila ang exposure nila tsaka vulnerability mas mataas because they rely on nature for survival and yun ang source ng livelihood nila, economic livelihood. For generations, they have monitored climate and environmental changes and nakadevelop na sila ng mga adaptive practices. Therefore, their traditional knowledge would be very key as we build resilience for vulnerable populations. Traditional knowledge relies on nature-based solutions. So it's passed on by elders over generations, and therefore it can effectively contribute to adaptation strategies, local, national, global. So time-tested na yan. They could inform policy decisions and pwedeng ipasok siya sa mga IP rights do sa mga climate adaptation frameworks. Traditional knowledge, as we understand, always emphasizes balance, respect, and harmony between people and the rest of the natural world, especially sa paggamit ng resources. Therefore, ang aim madalas ng practices na ito to have minimal impact sa environment and foster the self-sustaining ecosystems and biodiversity. If we distinguish it from nature-based solutions, culture-based solutions are increasingly solutions that can make climate action more inclusive, no? Kasi may inherent relationship siya with nature. Madalas ang pagtingin, merong mga pagtingin, hindi naman madalas, but increasingly, nakikitang NBS na attempt to greenwash climate change solutions and hindi inclusive ng indigenous worldviews, knowledge, practices, and their heritage. So, madalas nagkakaroon nga ng talagang pagtatanong and nagtatanong ang indigenous communities, where are we in this? When some of the actions that they have done, for example, is carbon sequestration through forest management and assisted natural regeneration. Yung hinahayaan mo yung forest mag-recover by itself, by allowing it to grow by its own, tinutulungan lang ng tao without technology. Massive forest fire mitigation through controlled burning. Diba? And then yung pagtatanim din nila, yung traditional agricultural practices nila, the crops that they plant. So these are sources of learning that we can use. And halimbawa, with the expected onset of El Nino, culture-based systems can help farmers adapt to changing weather patterns. Kasi kuminsan mag-change sila sa climate-resilient crops. So, i-improve nila yung water management so that in case the drought comes na, their water sources are still secure. So, we really need to strengthen social safety nets so that they can be part of this agroecology and climate policy. And I really value what Jerome and FP is doing in terms of trying to reach out to indigenous peoples, young people who can really contribute so much to what we are going through in the climate emergency, in the climate crisis. Actually, we call it climate crisis na hindi lang emergency, di ba? So we have people in our natural environments and we must find ways to work with them so that we can, we can be stronger for that. I will share the link. I will not show the documentary here kasi it's 16 minutes, but it features, ang tawag namin Winds of Change. It's a 16-minute video documentary. It features the stories of farming families of indigenous students of an of the culture-based school we are helping in Upper Pulangi watershed in Bukidnon. So nag-shift sila sa culture-based solutions as a climate action response. So part sila kasi ng corn industry, so masyadong maraming nalugi doon, tapos ang increased costs ng farming inputs. Then natutuhan nila na, this will not work. They have to transition and they have to get back to what their elders were doing before to be able to respond to the emergency. So I'll just share the link sa chat group. Is that okay, Mark?
Of course, of course.
Yan ba sa chat? Ayun. So I think with that, my presentation, my sharing is that. So kung merong mga questions later, that would be most welcome. Everyone.
Thank you very much, Miss Sylvia. Again, do we have any more question from our participants? Oh, I think, Miss Marie, should we reserve the question and let us put it in the third part of our session? Is that okay, Miss Marie?
Yes, we are going
Go
to
ahead.
go back to regular programming,
All right.
Mark. So we are going to take all the questions for our remaining speakers sa open forum portion natin. Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Sylvia Miklot, for that thought-provoking presentation. Actually, talagang I really believe that it's the indigenous peoples who will be our saviors, Talagang they're the ones who know and have experience and have yung knowledge from intimate knowledge and relationship with our earth. Well, to give us additional food for thought on the issue, we now listen to the environmental sociologist of Green Research Environmental Research Group, Inc., a development think tank that prioritizes sociological research and policy analysis on the Philippine environment. Please welcome Ms. Patria Gwen Borsena.
Okay,
Gwen?
happy New Year and makakalikasang pagbati sa ating lahat. I'm glad that Sylvia already mentioned Laudato Si and Laudato Deum and Jerome has the good news about their solar and the grants there. Okay, so we're starting on a positive note, but I have to take a critical share a critical voice too. Anyway, there. So I will share screen. Wait lang. Nakano na ba siya? Slideshow. Ayan na. Naka-slideshow na siya. Okay na? Can you see it? Can you confirm?
Yes po.
Yes.
Okay, sige, game na. Okay, so Jerome gave an overview. Sylvia, of course, that's very important, the cultural solutions and the IKSP. And sige, I'll try to see. So I entitled my sharing as critical issues related to nature-based solutions and revisiting the ecosystems-based approaches. But this is just a initial partial take and rapid take from our end. Okay? So as an environmental sociologist, wait, ano ko tong view? Nabablock yung view ko. Wait, how do I improve the view? Wait. Teka lang. How do I, the view? Sorry, wait lang ha. Cannot. Naka-slideshow pa rin siya. O sige, bahala na. We'll see. As an environmental sociological perspective uses different types of sensitivities manifesting a sociological imagination and motifs of the sociological consciousness, understanding realities about the environment and the natural resources, or acronym ko ENR. As a Filipino sociologist doing solidarity research and engaged fieldwork, I will use a critical sensitivity and the debunking motive in understanding the nature-based solutions. Yan pala yung acronym niya. N, small b, and then S. And sharing my initial take about this set of actions or initiatives. In this context, a critical sensitivity and debunking motif allow one to see beyond the facade of certain realities. In this context, NBS, by unmasking underlying meanings and deconstructing or analyzing, making apparent assumptions, contradictions, and values and factors related to relations between the environment, society, and development. Although Sylvia already kind of started it already. So I will use 3 documents to make this more apparent, the possible. They're pointing to certain flaws of the NBS. We're not saying it's totally wrong, but parang this is an alert, okay? First is the resolution on the nature-based solutions for supporting sustainable development, which was adopted by the United Nations Environment Assembly, UNEA 5, held in 2 events. Yung last nila in Nairobi, 22. Second is the Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. Chances are Attorney Ping and some of our maybe FPE already had their representative to here. Ito yung tinatawag nating COP for the Biodiversity, December 22. Look at the year, very important din yan kasi yung consequence. Pandemic pa pala nangyari itong mga to. Collective statement, no to nature-based solutions dispossession, signed by 364 organization networks and movements and 128 individuals from, I think, 60 plus countries. Next, yung first document, may definition siya ng nature-based solution. So, ayan na. Hindi ko na, can you just read it? It's parang ang stress niya dyan is that protecting, of course, the ecosystems, the different ecosystems, and, so ba? Ano ba keywords dyan? Yun nga, biodiversity benefits, ecosystems, services, resilience, there. Note, dun sa resolution na to, the UNEP was parang asked to support the implementation of NBS which safeguard communities and IPs. Kasali yun sa resolution. So, ang gusto ko i-point out dito, the use of the word safeguard in the implementation of NBS is already a red alert about the possible flaws and the misuse of the NBS. Okay, next. Yung Global Biodiversity Framework, nako, I need to review the entire thing but I just look at some parts. Ang lumalabas dito, yung NBS and or the ecosystems-based approach was used twice. So therefore, what I can say is that this is a textual or a diplomatic compromise due to the many critical issues raised during the debates about the NBS. During the COP, mga ganyan gatherings nila, plus yung mga press release ng mga civil society organizations. So talagang merong debate. As Celia pointed out, there was a controversy. So, ang EBA, according to, let me quote Net Danyo of the ETC group, is a much more defined and respects ecosystems and culture. So, there. Next. Ito yung kung saan siya kinote. Look at it na lang. So, di ba yung framework, meron siyang goals. So, yung isang goal, number 1, reducing threats to biodiversity. So, ito yung target 8. Okay, yung isang goal naman, meeting people's need through sustainable use and benefit sharing. Ayan, na-mention uli. Parang nag-compromise sila, pansinin nyo, and or. Siguro, parang I was not there. How I wish I could have got more inside stories about the debate and the negotiations. Pero ang nangyari, ayan na. Parang, di ba, naalala nyo yung COP, parang pag sa Climate Change Convention, nagkakagulo, ay yung ating, COP about the climate change. So, halos example, yung last time, muntik nang mawala dun yung fossil fuel sa document. Ala, inabol. So, nag-compromise na lang. Ano yung sinabi doon? Transitioning to, away from. So, parang ito, siguro ganun na rin na nangyari. So, sobrang parang battle or debate, ayun na lang, inilagay na lang pareho. There. And then, pero ito yung collective statement na I think, honestly, na-discover ko lang to when I was preparing or trying to see if I can help in this event. I don't know if it was sent to me. I just didn't saw it. I don't know. But anyway, ngayon lang this week ko lang na-review yung letter. So, ang title nung subject nila, No to Nature-Based Solutions. Actually, yung solutions nila may parang slash dun sa solution, dispossession. Then I said kung gaano karami nag-sign, there were initial 12 signatories. Ay, yung napansin ko dito, kaya ako nagtiwala agad dun sa statement o naging open, kilala ko yung dalawang groups. ETC Group, it's an international organization but may base sa Philippines. Si Net Danyo yung one of the leaders. I'm sure some of you know Net Danyo, one of the veteran environmental activists who also works at the international level. And then the Focus for Global South, sila, sino nga bang first name niya, nakalimutan ko sila, basta there. Actually, my former professor, Dr. Walden Bello, was connected with that. I'm not sure if he's still connected with it. Tapos, ayan, medyo naririnig ko rin yung network na to about the Asia-Pacific Movement on Death and Development there and the World Rainforest Movement. So there. So ito yung a few quotes from that statement. They call it a dangerous deception. That's a quote. Pag naka-quote ako, kinote ko lang yung statement. It's a dangerous destruction. So nature-based solutions as a new form, that's also a quote, of corporate land grabbing and greenwashing. So that's the danger. We're not saying all, but we have to be alert to it according to them. Pero parang sila very strong yung resistance talaga by reading the letter. Okay, but may kailangan i-admit sa waiting room. Sorry. Oh, there. In-admit ako. Sorry. Next, nasa na ako. So ito, I just will quote 2 paragraphs lang of a 2-page statement. Nature-based solution are thus not a solution, they are a scam. The purported solutions, nature-based dispossessions, because they will enclose the remaining living spaces, people's peasants, and other forest-dependent communities, and reduce nature to an offsetting corporations' pollutions, and to protect the profits of those corporations, those who have caused the climate chaos, something like that. So, ang danger lang dito, kasi yung parang, yung pwedeng gawin ng mga companies, okay, this area, in this barangay, this forest, kunyari, Tanay, imbis na gagawa ng Kaliwa Dam or something, wala na, tanggalin na yung mga IPs dyan, tapos, we will count the trees, the forest, and natitira, and then we will pay market mechanism ba? So, yung may danger na gano'n. And, nangyari na ata, kaya parang malaki yung resistance. I saw some of the countries signing from Brazil, India, yon. Actually, konti nag-sign sa atin sa local eh. Hindi ko alam kung hindi ko alam. I'm curious to ask nga, bakit hindi natin, parang hindi, I'm not sure. Yun nga, napaisip tuloy ako ngayon. A reflexive process, did we prepare? Did we engage in preparations for the CBD COP? The way, hindi, parang mas tayo sa climate change, yung biodiversity, hindi natin masyadong natutukan. So parang eye-opener din to, siguro for us, na maybe we should engage more about the biodiversity discourse at the national level and at the international. So next, we call on the climate, environmental, and social, this is their appeal to us. We call on the climate, environmental, and social justice movements to unequivocally reject nature-based solutions and all offset schemes. Such schemes are not designed to address the climate change, and then parang it's just parang an escape or a temporary solution, a band-aid solution, parang to give these companies that parang we can use our parang the fossil fuels, etc. We're offsetting it. So parang sinasabi ng kanang kamay mo, nag-offset kami, nag-respond kami sa climate change. Pero hindi naman nila inaano yung mitigation. So yun yung danger. Okay, we're not saying that nature-based solution per se is super negative, pero parang may contradiction for some. Okay, next. Next. Ngayon, ano yung ako nakikita ko kung open tayo, I think ang call, ang recommendation ko, parang it's not totally naman demonizing NBS, but rather, I think yun yung gusto kong opening ni Jerome. May tanong siya, nature ba o natural? So, ang gusto ko sanang sabihin, pwede bang tignan ng FPE, ng Forest Foundation, at ng mga ibang orgs, balikan natin yung isang phrase, ecosystem approach. Ito yung mas naturalesa sa atin. Ito yung galing sa atin, galing sa green, sa natural greens. it's a strategy of integrated management of land, water, and living resource. Parang sinasabi ni Jerome, alam na natin yan, ginagawa natin yan. Pero ang term talaga doon is ecosystem approach. Actually, chinek ko nga si Donna kanina. Sabi ko, Donna, naalala ko yung ridge to reap approach. Ecosystem approach yun, di ba? I think she said yes. So, application of the ecosystem approach will help reach a balance object. Actually, itong quote na to, itong the whole entire page na to, galing sa CBD. So, ang sinasabi ng CBD, ang talagang approach ng CBD is ecosystem approach. So, hindi nga sinabing NBS. Nakuha nyo, ni-reiterate niya to. I think this was posted this year or last year. So, ni-reiterate niya. Saka parang meron pang, saan na ba yun? Basta COPE something. Anyway, there. Ito here pala yun. Here. Ito yung sinasabi ko. Ni-reiterate nila. It's the primary framework. Tapos, di ba COPE, ano yun? Anong COPE 5. Tapos, ito, nag-COPE 7 sila. Ni-reiterate nila eh. So, there. So, hindi ko alam kung may statement pa sila sa CBS, maybe Ping will be able to help us find a compromise or understand it better. So the ecosystem, ito naman, meron pang isang phrase, eco-based adaptation. Ito na yung kinoconnect sa climate change. So as defined by the CBD, the Convention for Biodiversity, EBA is the use of biodiversity and ecosystem services as part of the overall strategy to help people adapt to the adverse effects of climate change. Medyo sad nga lang, kasi parang adapt, parang andyan eh. Sa bagay totoo, kailangan naman talaga tayo mag-adapt. Pero kung pwede pa talaga ng both talaga, adapt and mitigate, meaning mitigate, talagang transitioning talaga to veering away from fossil fuels and other dangerous extractive industries and whatever substances or processes, siguro, industries. Ecosystem-based adaptation was defined as a strategy for adapting to climate change that harness nature-based solutions and ecosystem services. So I think itong paragraph na, itong last sentence na to, ito yung medyo, ang sa tingin ko medyo compromise. Kasi sinasabi niya, okay, we do the nature-based solutions, pero we do also ecosystem services. Pero, ang kulang dito sa sentence na to, yung culture, Although, parang, when we say ecosystem nga, culture, pero palagay ko dapat baguhin nga natin to. Dapat, hindi ko alam kung babaguhin natin yung phrase na ecosystem-based approach with IKSP or ecosystem-based and culture, whatever, kung ano mang better branding. Okay, other references, I haven't really read this. Disclosure lang, but I find this interesting. I can put the links or the text in the chat box. Adopting a human rights-based approach to ecosystem-based adaptation, a contribution to sustainable development. So this report now identifies 7 types of human rights-based approaches adopted to varying degrees by UNEP and partners that further the inclusion of human dimensions into the ecosystem-based adaptation practices. This is interesting. So this can be another full-length topic. We can invite some of the lawyers or those who are able to practice this in the Philippines or maybe in another country if we can get a speaker. Next, integrating, ito din, ang ganda, interesting din ito. I discovered this. I will still read this. But this is a snapshot of this. Integrating justice in nature-based solutions to avoid nature-enabled dispossession. Ganda ng pagkaano niya ng title. Tapos, ang sabi niya, here's this is presented as an alternative, justice-oriented approach to NBS so that projects can avoid nature-enabled dispossession. Yun yung wording nila sa CBS, di ba? Yung nadidispossess ang mga communities, groups, and instead build, I like this phrase, look at this phrase, nature-inspired justice that prioritizes the needs, identities, and livelihoods, actually kulang dito sa phrase na to, cultures, of the most ecologically and socially vulnerable residents. So, underlining mine. Next, ang gusto ko lang, yun, ang parting ko lang towards sa tail end na to, parang as I was preparing for it, I was reminded, gusto ko ang tanong kay Dr. Nina, hindi ba dun sa PDP na ginawa natin under Aquino regime, napasok natin yung ridge to rift approach? However, when I was looking for it, hindi ko mahanap sa text. Pero nahanap ko siya sa text, ironically, in the Duterte PDP. So, hindi ko alam kung Kung ano, hindi ko lang alam kung hindi ko nahanap or what. Kasi ang nangyari kasi yung PDP under Aquino, binago nila. Kasi sobra yung imprint namin dun ni Dr. Nina. In fact, yung title nung chapter na yun, nung una, asa na? Ito siya. Conserving, eto. Nasaan na yung pinalitan nila, pati title, loko yung mga yon. Kasi parang napasok namin yung CPR. Here, CPR. Yun yung title ng chapter. At ito yung first PDP na may environment chapter. There. So there. Yung pangalawa, ito yung kay Duterte. Konti lang, medyo tumulong din kami nila Dr. Nina pero medyo late na. Parang habol sa kay ibang chapters, hindi na tayo na-influence. Pero, tingnan mo, ito yung overall framework of the PDP. Nandun yung reach to reap approach and yung SIAD, Sustainable Area Development, na nagpapasok tayo ng mga bagong phrases and approaches. Ito nga basic, hindi pa makuha ng, sorry makuha ng DNR o ng mga iba. So there, ay sorry, what happened? Saka yung isa, ito na, doon sa chapter na sa ENR, ayun talaga, minention yung reach to reap. So, kung tutuusin, dapat nga tanungin natin, teka nga, naintindihan ba talagang nagawa ng DNR itong reach to reap? At pati tayo. Kasi eco-based, ano yan approach. So, tapos ito, magpapasok tayo ng bago. Paano na? So, dinidistract lang ba tayo dun sa tamang daan? Alam mo yun nga, may danger ng greenwashing. So, pwede tayo maging alert. Kaso, palagay ko ang gut feel ko, mini-mainstream ng DNR kasi meron nga article si Yusek Te na pinublish siya Inquirer about the NBS. So, di ko alam kung ano gagawin natin. Talking with NEDA, we need to talk siguro with, una muna siguro, we need to talk among ourselves. Intindihin natin. Tapos, anong sitwasyon? Ano na yung status nitong mga approaches na to in the Philippines? And then, humarap tayo siguro sa NEDA, sa DNR, at sa Climate Change Commission. And yun na, nandun na yung sa biodiversity. Meron pa ba tayong ibang entities? I'm not sure. Anyway, sila Annabelle and Ping sila Net and the rest might know better than me. Yun lang. Okay. So yun lang. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Gwen. That was insightful presentation. I think we can now move on to our last speaker this afternoon to talk about institutionalizing nature-based solution. Our speaker this afternoon is a biodiversity policy analyst. He is engaged in legal counseling, litigation, and legislative advisory services to clients based in Soxargen and occasionally in other parts of the Philippines as a practicing lawyer of Elpidio V. Peria Legal and Legislative Consultancy. He also served as a negotiator and legal consultant of the Philippine delegation in the several conference parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and UN Convention on Biological Diversity. Please welcome Attorney Elpidio Ping Peria.
Hello. Kasi nandito ako sa mga kasama ko sana nag-meeting kami kanina sa ABS project. Mag-schedule tayo minsan on access and benefit sharing by piracy. Anyway, so nandyan ba yung yung PowerPoint ko or pwedeng kayo na lang para ko yan. And thank you
Pinadala mo
sa
ba, Ping?
invitation.
Did you send it? Did you send it?
Oh, yeah, no? Ayan na.
Ayan na, okay.
Thank you very much,
Nice to see you again, Ping, by the way.
Oo.
Tagal tagal
We
na.
survived the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, for all the mga pinaglalaban natin noon. And we're still here, no?
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for the invitation. Sabi ko nga kay Tessa, sana Kamayan, di ba nagsara na? Nasa
Uy, hindi
online na pala kayo.
Wala, kaunti na lang yata eh.
Ganun ba? So anyway, so I'm here to zero in on, I explained na nga na I made inquiries, no? Na may ongoing process sa loob ng DNR and I would advise, in fact, my source advised you to get in touch with Secretary Maria Antonia Yulo-Lisaga, yung smile, yung afternoon sa kanya, na sulatan niya and get involved, no? Para may ongoing draft regulation. So, hindi na ako nakahingi kasi dami rin yung ginagawa. But so, I'd rather zero in on some ways that this is being institutionalized. And thank you, Gwen, no? Nakwento mo na yung ibang part, so I don't have to dwell on that. For me, I would rather highlight yung mga challenges, no? And of course, yung mga naunang speakers before me had have raised the issues there, and they are very valid issues. But as nagkwentuhan kami ni Gwen before doing this, sabi ko, nandiyan na yan eh, tanggap na yan ng UN system, and ito nga, tinatrabaho na ng government, and not only Philippines. In fact, I'm also engaged with the ASEAN Center for Biodiversity. Kabilang natin si Director Mundita may Executive Director doon. So, tinitingnan din ng ASEAN, no? ASEAN Center for Biodiversity ito. So, anyway, sige, next slide please. Dami kong pasakalya. So, i-reiterate ko lang, na-mention na rin naman ito, but I'd like to zero in on ASEAN and international law references, and then I'll go back to some key features and some caveats kung ano yung nasa nature-based solutions, and then recommendations for the ASEAN member state. Kasi I'm quoting a recent study by the ASEAN Secretariat kung paano to i-address ng mga ASEAN member states. Kasi tinitinan nga ang nature-based solution as a way to do climate change adaptation and climate change mitigation. So para what do we get out of it? It's here. No? So ganun yung aking approach. Kasi nga, you work with what's possible. How can you maximize your gains given this new policy area? Sige, next slide please. So anyway, na-mention ito, yung New resolution, ito yung definition. Kung titignan yung definition niya, napakalawak niya. In fact, parang kahit ano pwede mong gawin. Lahat yung tawagin mo nature-based solutions. So, sa akin, very ano yan eh, tawag nila ng capacious. Any kind of concept can come in. And from the discussions nito, matagal naman itong tinulak na. But from the start ng pandemic, doon nag-start yung negotiations no post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, and then it took them several years, and then ito no March 2022, dumaan sa UN Environment Assembly yung push. And kasi pag dumaan ka na sa UN Environment Assembly, kasi yung mga UNFCCC, UNCBD, mga unit and bodies yan eh. Parang they cannot refuse na kung ito yung tinulak ng UN Environment Assembly, siya na pala dati umupo dyan, yung ating DNR Secretary Pahen, when he stepped down as DNR Secretary. Umupo siya dyan I think, for yung one term as Philippine rep. Sige, next slide please. Okay, so ang point ko lang nito na yung nature-based solutions, the concept is accepted na. Yung ASEAN, no? The 10 ASEAN member states made a joint statement on it. Sa climate change, so COP26 sa Glasgow. Recognize nila. Statement yan, ng mga ministerial statement. No? So, tinulak yan. No? Sige, next slide, please. And of course, masyadong malilit yan. But tingnan mo lang yung saan kong highlight na sa COP15, yung joint statement din ng mga ministers of environment of ASEAN, tinulak na rin nila yan. But in fact, these are countries na gustong i-mention that they support nature-based solutions. This strengthens my point nga na ano na nga ito, papunta na to sa institutionalization kasi nga tinutulak na ng mga government. No? Sige, next slide please. So ito, but interestingly, no, nung COP26, may natanong din akong Pinoy negotiator sa loob ng Glasgow. Nung initial na bago magsara yung COP26, nandun pa yung nature-based solutions. But sa tindi ng opposition ng developing countries, mo, nature-based solutions pa rin yung final na lumabas, nawala yung base solutions, naging nature. Pero that's the nature of negotiating process kasi nga, you fight for your pressology, and then tingnan mo. But of course, that's COP26. Next slide, please. Yung COP28, tapos na boxing, napasok na ulit yung nature-based solutions. So, but it's under adaptation. So, tingin ko, tama din na mas tingnan lang nature-based solutions as our way to adapt no? Climate change. So, ito yung recent na decision. Wala pang number kasi ine-edit pa nila. But nandun na siya. So ito yung sa decision on yung outcome ng global stock taking. Kasi nga, taas na yung we're close to 1.5 degree global average. So we need to be really, ano ba, urgent, no, in doing all kinds of things to mitigate and adapt to climate change. Next slide, please. So ito rin, no? Para 55, para 63. So lahat nga urges parties and non-party stakeholders to increase ambition and enhance adaptation action and support through, ito na nga, reducing climate impacts, blah, 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 and then nature-based solution. So, ang sumada nga doon, siguro nga, hindi na institutionalizing, I mean, institutionalized na siya, recognized na siya. So, ano na yan, nandiyan na sa climate. But tingnan natin lang CBD, Convention on Biodiversity. So, Gwen thankfully mentioned this next slide. Ha? Sa next slide, target 8, ito na yung sinasabi ni Gwen na it's a compromise. So, pinasok lahat ng proposals, nature-based solutions, and or ecosystem-based approaches. So, I would advise na para lang to balance out the term, use this when you advocate or you, siguro when we develop our own national regulation, pasok mo na lang lahat na nila sa the sana all approach, no? Kasi anyway, that's what this framework is. This Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework is our parang guide on how do we do biodiversity conservation up to 2050 actually. So this will guide us on how we do this biodiversity targets and narami ito target 1 to 23, but hinighlight ko na yung target 8, target 11 kasi doon nakalagay yung nature-based solutions and or ecosystem-based approaches. And as we speak, Philippines, including ASEAN member states, are revising their national biodiversity strategy and action plan to incorporate itong nature-based solutions and or ecosystem-based approaches. So it's basically the same thing, but of course, groups will attach their meaning to the term kung saan yung gusto nila. But sa akin, to be even about it and to avoid confusion, just use both terms, no? Nature-based solutions and or ecosystem-based approaches. Next slide, please. So, to recall, na-mention na ito ng mga dating speaker, but ito yung mga type ng pwedeng nature-based solutions, no? Better use of protected natural ecosystems. Yung type 2, yung nature-based solutions for sustainability and multifunctionality of managed ecosystems. Ito na yung mga pagpapaganda ng mga landscapes, no? And yung mga urban green space management, think of mga magagandang parks. In fact, Singapore is an active proponent of this. Type 3 is yung iba na talagang mas urban planning, urban water management. So lahat ng pag-aayos ng ating kalikasan to achieve human goals. But we have to look at yung climate adaptation and mitigation potential ng mga ito. No? Okay, next slide please. So, but kung titingnan mo, ano bang potential nga ng nature-based solutions? So, there's an interesting study by UNEP and ASEAN in 2021. Kung susumalahin mo lahat ng pwedeng magawa na ma-mitigate yung lahat ng mitigation global project at that time, ito lang kaya niyang i-reduce for the entire duration, no? 5 to 11.7 gigatons up to at 2030 or 10 to 18 gigatons at 2050. Yan lang kaya niyang gawin, yung potential na i-absorb ng mga greenhouse gas. But, ano bang kailangan natin gawin? Sabi ng IPCC, our mitigation, yung dapat nating ma-absorb should not be more than 300 gigaton para hindi tayo umabot sa 1.5. So, kung titignan mo, maliit lang din talaga pwede niyang pagawa. But of course, ang attitude dyan is you do what you have to do, no? So, yun yung potential. So, that should be a wake-up call na yung nagsasabi na marami siyang magagawa, ito yung talagang reality check May magagawa siya, but not really much. No? Sige, next slide please. And of course, ang debate sa climate change, sino ba talaga ang dapat may pangunahing obligasyon to mitigate? And it is the developed countries because of this common but differentiated responsibilities principle na nasa UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. Next slide, please. And nasa Paris Agreement. So, but yun nga, ang daming pumapasok na yun ng mga financiers, mga proponents, no, na mag-nature-based solutions tayo. But we need to be aware of the limits of what we can do, what it can do, and what do we get out of it. Gano'n lang siguro. Sige, next slide please. So ito yung may study ito, this was done bago mag-COP26. Tinignan yung mga potential ng nature-based solutions, the ASEAN region. So tatlong kategorya ang pwedeng tingnan na makagawa ng mga nature-based solutions and do mitigation. No? So ito yun, pwede sa green carbon to forest and agriculture, peatland carbon to peatful forests, and blue carbon, mangroves and seagrasses. So ang idea nito, ito yung mga mag-absorb ng greenhouse gas and yun yung makaka-mitigate, makakabawas sa accumulation ng greenhouse gas sa atmosphere. So yun yung value niya. Sige. Next slide. Is-flash ko lang yung mga numbers. So tignan nyo lang ito closely. Ito yung from that study, you Google that part and then ito yung mga estimates niya ng mga ganitong klaseng carbon. So yun yung green carbon. Next slide. Peatland, no? And then next, blue. So kung titingnan mo, in the ASEAN region, hindi talaga top-notcher ang Philippines, no? So, in fact, sa mga meetings ng ASEAN, marami talagang feedback, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, and isa lang tayo doon, no? So, okay, next slide please. So ito yung mga, I'm sure na-discuss na rin ito kanina, but i-reiterate ko lang na ang problem sa pag pag-implement ng nature-based solutions is yung pag-monitor, no? Maraming gaps in knowledge kung ano yung mga saan mo dapat sukatin kung yung pag-absorb niya ng greenhouse gas, and then mahirap i-verify sa industrial plantation. Yung financing, wala pa tayong ASEAN carbon market but of course some countries are developing it. And then yung governance, yung kanina na-mention natin mga previous speaker, na yung mga communities na yung kanilang ecosystem ang pwedeng pagkakitaan, they should have a say on what will happen to it. But yung ang problem sa governance is try to look for a contract na paano to. May kaibigan ako sa high school na kwento niya nung kami ng cover na binigyan siya ng $5,000, yung figure niya, like nature-based solutions. Sabi ko, nasaan yung contract? Tingnan natin, arali natin para mas strengthen yung leverage mo. Sabi niya, wala binigay lang siya ng pera So yun yung warning na talaga doon na marami talagang papasok, bibigyan ka ng pera, but I think the thing is you need to look at the detail, look at the conduct and leverage your position. No? And siguro if you can get more from the arrangement, then try to get more. Sige, next slide. So ito pa. So while nandiyan lang nga yan, so we need to to discuss safeguards, no? So yung mga nagpo-promote nga nito, yung mga middle of the road na environmental groups, dito na sila papunta sa safeguards. And in fact, yung regulation, doon papunta yon. Dahil dyan na nga yung nature-based solutions. So tingnan mo na lang paano yung issues ng leakage, additionality, uh, and then permanence and double counting. So ito yung mga dapat i-address na dapat yung mawala itong mga problems na ito para solid yung nature-based solution. No? Sige, next slide please. So ito na lang, yung recent na document, I urge you to look at this, no? Mas very instructive yung mga advice niya. Maraming models na doon. Basically, mga plantations, mga crop plantations na nire-repackage nga as nature-based solutions. But at the country level, looking at the policies, yung paano pag-institutionalize, kailangan pa rin na i-harmonize, no? Nabawa, policy on climate change mitigation, forest conservation, biodiversity conservation, indigenous peoples and community rights, and contractual issues, no? So, wala pang ganong ayos, no? Policy. And then, of course, kailangan ng mga magagandang business model, no? To attract. Kasi nga, ang mindset ng ASEAN is to attract nature-based solution investment. So, kailangan maayos ang pag-analyze ng cost-benefit nito and makita na talagang may return, as in economic return, no? Financial and economic return. Na hindi lang para doon sa nag-invest, but para sa lahat. No? And then, of course, ito ginagawa niya, GC, na sinimulan niya ito, then you need to have a group that will look at this closely, how it develops through the policy mill, no? Of not only of DNR, kasi eventually lahat ng ibang agencies will be involved with this. Climate Change Commission, the Department of Finance, NCIP, etc., DA, and others, no? So this is one big effort na tatagal ito, no? And of course, kailangan yung incentives para somehow worth it from the investor side, no? And of course, yung governance, yung cross-sectoral governance na hindi lang talaga specific to, let's say, farmers or indigenous peoples or others. Cross-sectoral na ito eh. So, kailangan siyang yun ang tingnan, paano gawin yun para ma-upscale and yun nga, to mainstream green growth. Ako, yung mga naunang sinabi ng previous speaker, I agree with them, no? But somehow we need to see what is before us and anong kasabihan nun na if you cannot stop them, join them and bring your own measures to really somehow put some degree of control on these schemes. So I'll stop there. Sige, tingnan ko itong mga chat. But I leave to the moderator paano pag traffic ng mga Q&A. Sige. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat.
Okay, I forgot to unmute. Maraming salamat, Attorney Alpidio Peria, Ping Peria. Matagal din tayo nagsama dyan sa climate change, no? And hanggang ngayon, grabe, wala na yatang katapusan to. But anyway, ang ganda ng presentation mo. We have so many things to think about. Actually, the whole forum has been a mind-boggling discussion kasi parang talagang ang dami mong kailangan i-consider, ang dami mong kailangan isipin. How do you prepare yourself to protect our interests, the interests of the earth, against greedy businessmen, against greenwashing, against so many challenges, no? So, thank you, Ping. And what? Before alam mo, Mark, we were supposed to have the group photo here, but since we already had it, that ends part one of our forum, by the way. Before we proceed to the Q&A portion, Mark has some brief announcements for you, di ba, Mark?
Yes, Miss Marie, I have a few announcements here.
Yeah, okay, go ahead,
regarding our evaluation. First, the GC Secretariat will share a link to an evaluation form for today's Kamayan Forum in the chat box, and the link will also be flashed on screen. I think ito na po siya na ipa-flash na on screen. And please take time to give us your feedback to help us improve the forum. And you may have an idea or thought that you want to be discussed during this Kamayan Forum. And we would love to take that and review that. And maybe we can talk about that in the future. Moving on to our e-certificates. For those who want to get their e-certificate, these are the reminders from GC Secretariat. A participant must have been actually present in the forum and not merely pre-registered. So someone from the GC Secretariat is actually monitoring our attendance. And second, additionally, the participant must submit a duly accomplished evaluation form. I think that would be all, Miss Marie.
Thank you, Mark. I have something to add, two items. First, I would like to invite everyone to visit the Ako Ang Bukas Facebook page. That is the program that tries to to address climate change. Parang dapat to make a quantum leap to climate neutrality by 2050. Ako Ang Bukas. Please visit the page, Facebook page. Just Google Ako Ang Bukas sa Facebook. And then the second one is I would like those who are not yet members of Green Convergence, who want to be members, to please, meron tayong di ba, link sa ating membership form. I think we usually put it sa chat box. So if you're interested, please fill up the form and welcome. We will be happy to have you as members of Green Convergence. Yon, and now, papunta na tayo sa ating Q&A. I now formally open the floor for your questions to our three remaining resource speakers. And Mark, you have guidelines again, my guideline man.
Correct. I know you have heard this many, many times. Please bear with me. So we have a few reminders for you about this Q&A portion. Please unmute your microphone as soon as your name is called and give your name, organization, school, or location to be recognized. And to ask your question or share a comment or maybe a remark, you may either raise your hand to verbalize it or post your question or comment on our chat box. And also, we are inviting our participants from Facebook to also send your questions maybe via comment section or course through it to our messenger. And if you are quite shy, maybe you can also send your questions directly to me and I will say it for you. And we will take as many questions as the time permits.
Yes. Okay, we have one raised hand that I see. It's Sylvia's. Sylvia Miklat.
Yes. This is for Attorney Ping. Pwede ako magtanong? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, what you have shared is really where we are. So, ang point nga ngayon is how will government ensure the safeguarding? Is it going through that process in its documentation of the process of institutionalization? Yun nagbibigay ba ng kaakibat na focus ang gobyerno in terms of social safeguarding as we go through? Kasi hindi na talaga kaya ng mga NBS or natural. We need to protect our forests, our oceans. Pero we will hit the 1.5, we will go and we'll go beyond it. So what we really need to find out, technology will have to be used. As in physical daw, sabi ng mga scientists, we have to physically get the carbon out of the atmosphere. So gagamit talaga na ng beyond nature. To be able for the planet, for us to survive. But we are expecting a lot of these extreme climates now in 15 years. We'll really hit it. Kahit anong gawin natin ngayon, kahit ano. That's how the scientific community has said it. And I think it was also said naman in COP28. So my question is, given that we are going through this, investments, those who are willing to financially help us in this, how are we very conscious of the social safeguarding that's needed, given that ang mga lupa natin, ang mga tenure dyan, marami pang magulo, hindi nga alam who owns the land in some. So yun lang, Attorney Ping, I just want to know what
Sige.
are you doing. Yeah.
Disclaimer muna kasi in fact, nalaman ko lang yung NBS nung tinanong ako. Ito yung topic mo. Akala ko ABS accessibility sharing. But let's schedule something on that. No, nagtanong nga ako sa DNR, no? Of course, I'm not with DNR as organic, no? Nasa project lang kami at nakakapagtanong-tanong tayo. And yun nga, what I found out is may consultation na nangyari last year and may mga groups nga na, may mga NGOs din doon, no? Which I will not name. Baka sumama loob niya na hindi kayo yun at sila lang doon. Baka tanongin niya, tapos tumutulog niyo. But anyway, ang point nun, na may ongoing policy, undergoing consultation, and this is a good timing, no? Na your group tackle this now. So, I mean, the usual open naman tayo, hindi tayo like Indonesia or other countries na mahigpit. So we can easily write to the secretary and perhaps get a copy and then submit your comments para they will be finalizing it. But yun nga, as what the ASEAN study has shown, hindi lang to DNR eh. Kasi nga, cross-sectoral concern ito eh. Although ngayon, by default, dahil si Smile, no? Si Secretary Maria Antonio Yululoy Sagay, siya rin yung designate na CCC, in a way, siya na yung, ano ba? Kasi ang chair yung president, but the president decided to parang hindi naman outsource or delegate, no? Parang ginawa din ni Duterte kasi yan eh. Na mag-appoint ng secretary, so I don't know whether it's good or bad. I'll reserve judgment on that. But yun, so siya yung in a way de facto parang dalawang agency ang hawak niya, CCC and DNR, which is a good opportunity. But I think there will be other agencies that need to come in, no? BOI, DTI, Central Bank, cross-sectoral eh. And then of course, PCW, I mean, other sectors, NCIP, even SWD. So we need to bring in the concerns that we will raise. And yung sa discussion of safeguards, the things that I have pointed out, which I'm sure you have also pointed out, this needs to be addressed substantively. Hindi by way of nasa preambular part lang, masaya ka na. You need to see how, ano, and then of course, ito nga kami, no? Dahil galing kami sa Praxis and Benefit Sharing Project, pagkakakitaan talaga ito. So, ang mindset talaga dyan is, putya, dapat may share kami dyan. And yun nga, if you look at the red, in fact, this is like red again, no? Red plus, no? So, in a different guise, but basically, benefit sharing ang kailangan din yan eh. So, contracts. So, you need to look at contracts, kung ano yung mga specific na obligations and trade-offs. And yun. And of course, sabi ko nga sa'yo, di ba, I showed you the data, yung potential na kaya nitong i-mitigate, dapat ano mo rin, i-check mo rin na hindi na talaga malaki masyado ang pwedeng gawin ito. Kasi nga, ang dapat na action talaga sa climate change is yung developed countries na to cut their mitigation. Pero GHGs, but it's not happening eh. And of course, that's another level of engagement, no? So yun, I'll stop there, no? And I don't know if I have answered your question. But sige lang, keep them coming.
No, it's okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Do you see other hands raised, Mark? Or maybe
No more
questions?
I think, from our chat box.
Yeah, from the chat
Meron
box.
kanina ako na loss and damage eh. Gusto ko i-relate yun. Yung tanong na yun. Can I respond to that?
Sige, go ahead.
So, yung
Bing.
loss and damage is, kung tanongin mo si Yeb, no? You know Yeb Sanyo, our
Yes.
CC Commissioner, kaibigan natin.
What's the question? Where I can't see it.
Parang
I think this
related
one,
ba to?
allow me to read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Randy, to Attorney Ping and Ma'am Gwen, is loss and damage finance funding a nature-based solution or dispossession?
Hindi, nga, doon ang papunta. This is another category of action. Kung si Yeb Sanyo ang tatanungin mo, yung unang Climate Change Commission natin, commissioner from the CSOs, this is the third leg of climate action. First leg is mitigation, second adaptation, third is loss and damage. Kasi you do loss and damage na action, no? Actually, it's a policy move din eh, loss and damage. It's a concept na going beyond adaptation, no? That's how it was explained to me nung nagdidebate kami sa loob ng delegation kasi tech transfer yung tinututukan ko eh. But loss and damage now is a recognized concept and ito nga, yung nitong COP28, may pera na. Pinunduhan na yung loss and damage fund. So it's basically another funding facility, but the challenge for us is to document ano yung mga nawala sa atin, ano yung na-damage because of climate change. And siguro ang connect sa nature-based solution is when you address this documented loss or damage to ecosystems, etc., dun ka gagawa ng nature-based solution. So ganun siya connect, but they are not one and the same. So I don't know if that clarified. O kung lalong nagulo, just ask ulit.
Kalito.
Nalito ko ba?
Sakit sa ulo.
Hindi siya nature-based solution per se kasi nga loss and damage is a category of action para siyang climate adaptation,
Yes.
climate mitigation.
Uh-huh.
Kasi si Eb ang palati ko talaga ano dyan yung guide ko dyan siya nag-explain ganyan nag-hunger strike siya doon sa Warsaw.
Oo nga.
Tutuntuhan kami sa gabi, paano ba to? Ganun. So yun nga, sabi niya, this is the third leg, no? So kasi nga, adaptation is you adjust ano to, yung mga taniman mo, yung bahay mo, gano'n, no? Para lang makakope ka, no? Na kaya mo pang i-maintain yung lifestyle mo. So yun yung adaptation. But kung sobra na like we can expect the El Nino this year to be siguro to break the temperature records. So tingnan mo anong nawala sa in fact farmers that we have worked with before no na namimit ko pa rin ngayon sa Mindanao. They always saying na nawala na yung mga ganitong klaseng variety no ng crop ng fruit kasi nga dahil sa sa weather weather fluctuation but yung long term trend yung climate change na. So yun, dapat na-document yun na nawawala siya. So yun yung loss and damage. And because of that, may nawala ka na na-document mo, doon ka makaka-tap ng funding. So basically, it's a funding facility para sa Global Environment Facility, para sa ADB, and I'm sure talaga maraming lalapit din talaga sa community, sa NGOs na, mag-pondo tayo ng mga loss and damage, ano. And then, ang to address loss and damage, yun, nature-based solution ang sagot para ganun.
Okay. I see Tessa's hand. Tessa.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Ping. Nice to see you. Yeah, thank you for their inputs. I think they're important to be looked into. Kaya lang, itong nature-based solution has been agreed already by the different countries. Okay? I think that is an advantage. And ang gawin na lang natin, kung meron tayong nakikitang mga pagkukulang, tingnan natin kung anong magagawang policies dito sa ating country so that we can address the concerns of other sectors. So I was just thinking, for example, ano bang magiging management structure ng mga areas that will be used for nature-based solutions? Dapat klaro yan. Dapat kasama yung may mga representatives who has an important say and weight ng kanilang inputs. Dapat nandun yan. And then, and the incentives. Kasi right now, parang ang incentive is the carbon credit. Bakit yun ang incentive? I think we should give better incentives, not just carbon credit. Kung pwede nga, alisin natin yung incentive na carbon credit, but use siguro tax credits or something that can also be beneficial to mga investors. So, dapat tignan natin, pag-usapan natin to, and it's good to get all the opinions of the other sectors so that it will be relevant to our country, most especially, and mapagtanggol natin yung mga karapatan din and benefits of other communities like the fisher folks, yung usually walang mga boses sa decision making. Let them be part of the decision making body. All right. So my question is,
Hindi mo pala yun.
Hindi pa yun. Prologue pa lang yun.
ano ang gusto
Classic Tessa.
ano ang gusto mong maging how can we make the voice of the IPs talagang marinig in the management group that will be doing nature-based solutions. Thank you.
Ano,
Naman
Ping?
na iba. Sunod, ako na ba yan? Ang maganda
Ikaw ang
sabihin niya.
tinatanong, di ba?
Ako ba? Sige.
Yes, Sylvia.
Pinupukpok ka talaga,
Hindi,
Ping, sa mga questions.
sige na. Namiss niyo lang ako. Namiss ko rin kayo. Anyway, hindi, okay, usap natin ng GMO din again. Anyway, no, one way is to do a forum na kasama mga indigenous groups, no? In fact, sa ABS project, in every activity that we do prayer meetings na invited sila. That's one. But also, because you know these groups din naman and somehow wala silang capacity or means to raise their concerns, raise it yourselves, no? Like when you ask for some documents from Smile, from DNR, raise their concerns, but of course, raise also your concerns, no? About these issues, yung issue ng safeguard, yung na-point out yung mga leakage, additionality, etc. And ultimately, yung parang who will benefit from this investments? Kasi eventually, investments ito pagkakakitaan ito. So, ang tanong doon is, kikita naman sila, o di dapat meron din kayo. Kasi nga, gagawin at gagawin ito, and yun nga, though of course, I'm mindful of what Gwen is saying, na sinabi ko rin na use both terms para lang, kasi hindi mo na rin siya ma-delegitimize eh. Nandiyan na siya eh. So one way to routinize these things is use both terminologies. Kasi alam mo sa treaty negotiations, o rather not cancel out the term, inadapt na siya pareho. Parang ano yun eh, by informed consent sa CBD o meron ding approval and involvement. Kung basahin mo yung text ng convention on PIC, parehong term ang ginagamit. But of course, that's being too technical about it. But you need to look at what they will actually do. No? Will they really achieve mitigation? Will they really do adaptation? And be mindful of where your interests are and articulate them. No? Articulate them and open naman yung open naman si Secretary. I understand na kikinig siya. So, meron lang ibang nangyari ata nung COP28 na sinulat ni Rodney. So, di ko pa nakausap si Rodney. So, wala akong inside info kung ano ba talaga nangyari. Thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you. We have another raised hand here, Marivilla
Yes, Miss Lydia.
Lydia. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello po.
Hi.
Hi. Na-late po ako. Galing po ako sa sa workshop sa Marikina, NIAP, no. Anyway, this is not actually a question but just a suggestion. Matagal ko na po itong sinasuggest kasi ito po I am speaking on the side of education sector. Suggestion ko po sana we involve also our leaders in the educational sector kasi now that we are recalibrating our curriculum, sana maisama na rin itong mga usapin na ito sa ating mga mag-aaral, mga estudyante. Una sa lahat ay like yung disaster risk management, no? Hindi lang yung kung kailan tayo nag-age na saka natin natutunan yung mga processes, kundi from the very beginning, natuturuan na natin po ang ating mga estudyante. Now, speaking of IPs, hindi lang po naman concern ng mga IPs. Lahat po tayo ay concern natin to. Yung how to mitigate climate change. And since we're talking about institutionalizing it, then probably we can also tap our, like po ako sa PNU, no? Philippine Normal University. Pwede po tayong, I can always bring this attention to our president kasi ang ating president naman ay nature lover, etc. And we are into addressing also yung the targeting the 2030 na SDGs natin. So, iniisip ko lang kung i-integrate na natin kaya ito sa ating curriculum. Nasa ano po kami workshop ng helping our teachers na ma-promote kasi yung mga gusto ma-promote, hindi na po promote dahil may mga standards sa kailangan nilang i-meet. Baka pwede na nating ipasok itong isa sa mga gawain nila and nasa domain 3 po ako ay nasa iPad. So, lessons on integrating things related to IP. So, sa iPad. No, ang pinaka concern din natin dito is hindi natin tuturuan yung mga IPs natin para sila angkla sa atin, kundi not to change their culture, but how to preserve their culture as well. So, kung ito ay sa atin lang, mga sabihin, mga senior high, ganyan na ang nag-umpisa tayo, tas tayo na nag-usap dito, why don't we involve our learners themselves para sila din mismo, maganda po yung isang discussion natin dito no, na involving the youth. So, itap din natin sila kasi kung mga youth ang maglalabi sa ating mga lawmakers, tingin ko pakikinggan tayo. At kung yung ilalabi din natin na integrate na ito sa curriculum, mahahabol natin itong mga usapin na mga ito. And we in the educational sector can help our advocacy, no, para sa tagal ko na rin nakikinig sa mga usapin nating mga ito, sabi ko paano kaya makapasok ang educational sector, and sinabi ko na sa president namin dahil mag-isa lang po ako member sa PNU, gusto ko ring buong PNU ay maging member na rin para sa tuwing may usapin na ganito, mayroon na po kaming core team na hindi lang ako po yung mag-attend kundi team na sa PNU para ma-involve din kami sa educational sector sa usapin na ito. Of course, hindi ko po ito kaya mag-isa kaya kailangan ko rin po ang inyong mga ano pang tawag nito, Ma'am Marie, yung push. Kailangan ko rin yung inyong mga paano natin to isusulat, paano natin ito isabi, at makakatulong po ang PNU for this concern po.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you po.
Thank you. That's very encouraging.
Correct.
Opo.
And I also think na she also answered all her questions, if not all, maybe most of her questions also. Nasagot na din niya. And I guess, do we have any thoughts from our speakers about that? Oh, very well said, ata, Miss Lydia. All the things
Oo,
that you
nice.
all
So,
noted. We will keep that in mind.
lalo na yung tungkol sa youth, no?
Exactly.
Yun din na
So ako,
sinabi kanina ni Jerome, di ba, yung youth?
Correct, correct.
May funding siya for youth.
I
Opo.
think si Gwen
I
dapat
think
umikot sa mga schools.
Okay.
Thank you
We have
po.
another one, Elizabeth
Question dun
Balais.
sa may question, pwede ko ba sagutin na konti lang? Yung may question sa human rights and ano nga ba yung question niya?
Before
I
we
think
go
this one
to...
from Sibat, Rights of Nature Framework in kanina, how is this helping NBS or ESB solutions?
I-share, sorry, ng video ko. I-share ko yung article, picture lang pala yung share ko kanina. So, i-share ko yung article tungkol doon, pero yung nakita ko dito, nasa na nga ba yung copy ko? Aha. Parang may saan ka na naka-open. Wait lang ha. Ito. Basahin ko lang yung isang number dito. Merong isang siya. Kasi di ba yung human rights, embedded naman talaga yan sa United Nations sa mga niya. Naku, nasa na. Wait. Mga talon to.
Gwen, we don't have much time.
Oo nga, teka lang, sorry. So parang yung example lang dito siguro, tignan yung source ng inequalities, yung root causes ng inequalities. Tapos syempre yung rights ng mga sectors. Pero siguro ang isa rin dito siguro kailangan i-highlight na hinighlight namin sa PDP, yung participation ng civil society sa governance. So participatory environmental governance can also ensure, yun nga, ina-encourage tayo ni Ping, na para magkaroon din ng mga tamang way of proceeding. Pero nagdi-disagree pala ako dun kay Tessa na parang yung tone niya kasi sinabi niya, parang ano yung term niya, ano yung sinabi niya, parang, accepted na yan sa international, yung ano to, yung NBS. Hindi, kung titignan mo, sabi nga ni Ping na nag-agree siya sa akin, balikan niyo yung mga dokumento dahil sa debate, ano siya, they're mentioned in the same line, in the same breath, in the same, ibig sabihin, may dangers, kaya dapat alert tayo. Tayo na nasa mga leaders ng movements and NGOs and issue-based coalition o kung ano-ano pa, academe, dapat tayo, tulungan natin yung ating mga kababayan at even the DNR to be more critical. So, pag magbabara, mabantayan natin. Parang, kunyari, di ba, example, alam niyo, example ko lang, yung National Greening Program, alam naman natin may loopholes, alam din ng FPE yun, even Tony Lavinia in his recent article, criticized it. So, para maiwasan yun, kailangan tayo mag-engage sa paggawa pa lang ng policy, pag-monitor, pag-evaluate. Yun. So, tama naman yung call ni Ping. Kaya lang nga, dapat malaman natin, Ping, sana mahanap mo yung dokumento ng consultations. So, malamang si Annabelle might know a lot about this kasi inside consultant siya eh. So, baka
Hindi,
kailangan pa
sumulat
yung
na lang kayo para official yung engagement nga. I'm sure if they respond, di ba may 15 days naman obligation to respond ng government.
Right.
So, of
right.
course, talangin mo rin si Annabelle sa mga stories inside. So, magtatanong din ako, di ba, Le?
Oh, we
Gusto ko
had a
sagutin yung
question.
Gusto ko sagutin yung kanina, yung sa sibat. Okay lang?
Go ahead.
Ano yung sa sibat? Ano yung
Rights
question?
of nature.
Rights of
Oo,
nature framework.
may bill yan eh. May bill ang rights of
Oh,
nature.
and then
Pwede
after
insert.
that, can we go to Elizabeth Balais because kanina pa siya? After that. Sige, go ahead na.
Attorney Ping.
Go ahead, Ping.
Hindi. Ang sabi ko nga na ang parang relationship ng nature-based solutions sa rights of nature, it's a proposed bill ngayon. Nakita ko din yung ginawa ni na Mike Paderaso, no? Mark. Insert mo lang doon kasi in a way, it's a liability principle eh, na pag nag-damage ka ng environment na for your actions, yung rights of nature basically eh, na you're supposed to compensate it and you don't need another, it can be anybody who can sue in behalf of nature, no? Even as tree species. Marami na sa ibang countries, sa US and New Zealand, sa India, river system, mountain, hill, may right na sila na in their behalf, anyone, no? Kayo, GC, as a person, will sue and then get some liability for some, siguro kung failed yung nature-based solution na mas naging na-damage yung environment as a result of that intervention, yeah, you can use it, but it has to be in the law. No? And ang isa rin inaano nga namin dati, ni Joey Papa, dapat ano rin kayo, no? Ako, di naman sa in-encourage ko kayo, one way din is to go for strategic litigation eh. Like yung mga ginagawa natin mga kaibigan, no? Yung nag-sue on golden rice, BT talong. Then eventually later, you have to work with groups and siguro lawyers, lalo mga bagong pasang lawyer dyan. They want to make a name for themselves na to set it right and to lay down principles. Kasi wala eh. So, but of course, that will come after. You have to work with government muna, developing the policy, and engage them. Tama yung sabi ni Gwen, engage and then tingnan mo na lang later what you can do further. No? Kasi we have enough din legal mechanisms to redress our grievances sa mga gano'n. Thank you.
Okay, we will have Elizabeth Balais and then Dr. Galang. Elizabeth, do you still want to ask your question? She's still there?
I think she's not raising her hand anymore. Maybe
Okay.
we can move on.
We can proceed to Dr. Galang. Nina?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Oh, there she is, Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
Elizabeth, yeah, go ahead.
Elizabeth, you go ahead or me?
Oh, nawala na naman siya. You go ahead na po.
Yung signal niya.
Okay.
Baka yung signal niya problemado.
Go ahead.
Go ahead na, Nina.
All right. I'll veer away a little bit. As Jerome said, nature-based solutions is, as a concept, almost a no-brainer. we all know that ecosystems, healthy ecosystems are the best sinks for carbon dioxide. And it's good that governments are coming. It seems like NGOs have known this for a long time, and the indigenous peoples and communities know this. And this institutionalization is really the government getting into the bandwagon, it seems, no? But it's good that they have targets on how much. I think they have set targets on how much each country should regenerate its ecosystems. But Sylvia Miklat mentioned that we're here and now, and the problem is so big that technology has to come in. Human invented and discovered or developed systems because the problem is just so big. But we also know that this is uncharted territory compared to nature-based solutions. And any tinkering with nature on such a massive scale can also have massive, unexpected or um, unanticipated consequences. I know from Sylvia, who's more into the into the scientific angle. What is the status right now, or how much do we know about technology-based carbon capture?
Hi, Dr. Nina.
Hi, Sylvia.
This came from a recent presentation by Professor Johan Rockstrom of the Potsdam Institute for Climate Change. He laid down a couple of scenarios, and of course, obviously, the first part in terms of protecting our forests, our oceans, I mean, these have to continue, and we have to give our best. Emissions have to be cut. Ito yung pagano niya na hindi natin ma-reach ang 1.5 eh. But because of how we are now at the latest carbon, I don't know the latest count, but as of September 2023, we are at 419 ppm. So we're nearing na yata, hindi ko alam yung pinakano, but it's really high. We will have to consider the carbon capture technology because it's impossible not to do that anymore. Now, as you said, it's uncharted territory, yes. But so is the world that we are facing, and the next generation is facing, the next generation is facing also uncharted territory. So what we need to do, as you know, in the social community, the scientific community, those who are looking at safeguarding, we have to make sure that this is not a further endangerment, but a physical capturing of the carbon is necessary at a certain point. And sinabi na yan, maybe if after COP28 by some miracle, the largest emitters will cut down. Don't know, but that's praying to the Lord, di ba? But it's just so unmanageable at this time that even if we all do our own bit now, yun na nga, we'll have to face it. So we just have to be ready. There will be cities, there will be extreme heat, there will be more flooding, extreme weather. So it's how now do we face that?
I don't want to ask the question. I think.
Yung mga I'll share that presentation by Professor Rockstrom. I think it's very it gives us a practical sense of, you know, the world we are facing and the world our children and our grandchildren will be facing. So the most we can do now, we should but the carbon capturing is really part of the solution, Dr. Galang. But you're right, it's uncharted territory, and many will also benefit from it, negosyante, investors. So, di ba? So we need to be careful about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you had new information about these various technologies, like, you know, the capture by certain rocks or minerals or the throwing of ferrous sulfate
No, no.
particulates, So, but really, anything that we do on a big scale can also have big impacts, no? I just wanted to know if you had new
There are so many technology now on carbon capture.
Okay, thank you.
Madami nag-emerge. Yeah.
Okay, baka we can have another session on that
Yeah.
in Kamayan.
Carbon capture technologies.
Can I respond? Can I respond?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, go
Hindi,
ahead. Ping.
back in 2017, we helped the Climate Change Commission, no, do a technology needs assessment. Pero hindi ko na alam kung na-update yun, no? And, kung dahil dyan na kasi si Smile, no? Pwede siya siguro as vice chair, as chair of the commission, as the chair delegate of the Climate Change Commission, na balikan yung technology needs assessment. Ano yun? Kasi nga, that's a process inside the UNF, under Paris Agreement, Article 10, no? Paris Agreement. We help this action klima push for that. May process doon, at country level, in fact, yung nationally determined contribution natin, mahina sa technology transfer. Sayang, there's a lot of opportunity na kung i-define natin, like example, itong nasabi nga na nature-based yung technology, we can request from the Climate Technology Center and Network. In fact, dati si Secretary Siring, sabi niya, ikaw muna umupo dyan as Philippines. So, naupo kami ni Net doon sa Climate Technology Center Network. So, there's a request mechanism. We only have to request a technology and it will be provided to us for free. Of course, there's a process we have to follow. Hindi siya low, no? Grant. So, yun ang isang pwedeng tingnan, no? But you need to be specific kung ano yung kailangang technology that will have the most impact. Ang most often na nahuhulog na request, more on sa paggamit nga ng mga biodiversity ecosystems, conservation, as a climate adaptation platform, parang ganun. So, yun, balikan yung technology needs assessment, ipasok itong nature. I'm sure sa policy na i-develop, meron yun. Kasi everybody talks about technology, but how do we get it? And there's a mechanism inside Paris Agreement, the Climate Technology CTCN, Climate Technology Center and Network, wherein depende in fact, dati nung time ni Secretary Siring, tinatalog din after Yolanda, di ba? We are the foster country of climate change. Tinatanong tayo, anong i-request natin? Pero yun nga hindi na nakompleto yung process na yun. And then, nagkanya-kanya na kami, nawala na kami. So, baka it's about time the GC can pick that up, no? Kumusta yung technology needs assessment natin and gano'n na ba tayong technology transfer parang action plan, no? TTAP, no? Para to address our climate change priorities, no? Climate change action priorities. CCC is supposed to do that, but the you're doing it, no? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miss
Yes,
Marie.
Question na si Marie at Mark. Meron ng comment si sister. Pwede rin ako mag-react doon. Meron na siya. Basahin nyo.
Sige, basahin mo nga, Mark.
I'll check. All right. From Miss Elizabeth, I'm not going to ask a question but a request. May we include the LGUs from the provincial to the city down to the barangay level so that we may hear firsthand the information such as this. The reason is that we need more environmental policies because there is a little sense and power if the LGUs are not with us. We need their leadership and action for a wider approach in achieving our goals. And Green Convergence has been seminars or have conducted seminars, forums that create impact along with DNR so they may be able to participate in meetings such as this.
Oh, okay. Shall we have a reaction?
Okay lang.
All right. I think Miss Gwen already responded to the question.
Hindi. In a way, sinulat ko doon. Yun yung nandun nga. Pinasok, actually, yun, modesty aside, napasok namin nila Dr. Nina importance sa environmental governance, no? Pero at all levels. Pero ako, kung ako tatanungin, yung quantum leap, yan yung isang malaking challenge. Ano na nagagawa ng DNR, ng CCC, NEDA, nagagawa ba natin yan? Talaga, yung participatory governance. Ayun nga, sabi ni Ping, may consultation about this one, di natin alam. So, yan yung, sa tingin ko, more than mainstreaming a particular approach, given all this is the mother approach. If we don't have that, sabi nga ni Pope Francis, if the people are not empowered, I think he said that in Laudato Deum or Laudato Si, wala. Hindi masosolve ang mga environmental problem. I don't just have the exact quote, but that's the gist of it. So, asan ba si Elizabeth? Where is she? Is she in LGU
She's in
or
Benguet.
what? Or
Yes, she's
Okay.
in Benguet,
Yes.
so probably may problema talaga siya sa
Benguet.
internet.
Hindi, Benguet, pero she's with the LGU or she's with an
Mukhang.
NGO?
Yes, correct. Maybe. I think she's part of the local government.
Okay. Hello po. Kain siya.
Yan.
Ayan
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, I guess
Spotlight niyo siya.
my internet is okay now. I previously worked with the local government unit. It's in Kalinga po, sa Kalinga province.
Okay.
And yes, Benguet is a sister of Kalinga province because we belong in the Cordilleras. Ayun po. I don't know for other provinces, but if they have environmental policies, it will show sana in the development of their cities and municipalities and provinces. Pero yun na nga, I think we really need to have a closer, paano ba yun, relationship with them kasi green convergence may impact na siya sa society. It's true, ma'am. It's true. Ano lang kasi, more sana. And for me, since ako lang yata yung green convergence dito sa aming probinsya, I can do things that will help na, para dito nga sa maging wider ang scope ng environmental protection, conservation, and then yung sa mga climate change. In fact, si Bat came here at yes, twice na mula nung na-employ ako sa provincial government, but now because of the co-terminus position, wala na ako. But then I made friends with SIBAT members and officers. May mga projects sila dito. And yun na nga, tinap nila ang government, which was a very good move by them. Yun, oo. So maybe yun nga, more hands sa government kasi sila talaga yung mga primary movers, and kung makuha natin sila sama-sama lahat, ang ganda ng impact. So, yun, praying na little by little, siguro it's not that yung biglaan, pero magkakaroon ng one step at a time, and then maybe not in our lifetime, but youth will emerge and then they will continue what we have been doing.
Wow, that's very nice thought. Thank you very much. That's a very nice thought. Kasi very hopeful, and yung discussion so far nakakaano na, ano tawag doon? Nakakapindang na. So it's nice to hear something hopeful, no? And bright. Sana.
Can I just comment kay Elizabeth very very briefly
Yes,
lang?
go ahead please.
Elizabeth, merong 'di ba yung local climate change action plan that's required. So I think, but it's through the ILG. So I think kung pwede tayong makatulong, if there are local governments who need help in that, that would be also a good way to insert. And a multi-participatory approach can be done. So, and then lalo na yung mga tinatamaan ng disaster, there are funds and there are DRRM plans required na from barangay, municipal, city, di ba? Ano na yan? So pumapasok din dyan yung ibang environmental protection at saka management plans and efforts ng local governments. I think many are very involved now. So what we need to do is where can we give more support to those who need more information, more competence, mga experts siguro. So ganun na lang i-identify natin. But I think there are already existing ways by which we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very good suggestion. So I think we are ready to wrap
Ma'am,
up.
can I please, sandali lang po. 1 minute, promise.
Okay, go ahead.
Yun. Yes, ma'am. Yung sa LCAP, our province, kakaano lang nila kasi hindi rin yata lahat ng probinsya meron po na ganito. Yung iba nag-start pa lang and we did that actually sa isang subject namin. I don't know, kay Ma'am Victoria yata. Napag-aralan namin yan. Yun, may mga, according to one of my classmates, hindi lahat ng probinsya meron ng ganon. O yung iba nagko-comply pa lang, yung iba talagang wala pa. So maraming wala. So yun nga, if we could penetrate the LGUs, then maybe susunod din sila. Siguro ang lang nakikita ko lang, they need experts talaga na magtuturo ng mga gagawin. Kasi not all of those who are making this have studied environmental science, environmental management. And then hindi din lahat ng mga nasa yung sa Department of Environment na very knowledgeable. So, minsan nga, di ba, alam natin, due to politics, nakakapasok sila sa ano. So, ayun po, siguro more, yung relationship with the LGUs. Yan, thank
Oh,
you.
that's ideal. That's ideal, really. Mark, so we're about to wrap up. So ikaw na siguro mauna.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Marie. Once again, thank you to all our speakers and thank you for attending Kamayan Forum. I'd like to take this opportunity to also invite you to please like our Facebook page from the Silent Institute for the Environment and the Sal Botanical Gardens. Quick plug, sorry. And also, please like and share the Facebook page of Green Convergence. And maybe just a quick, super quick parting shot, Miss Marie.
Yes, go ahead. You don't need to be super quick.
Thank you so much. I think much has been said, and all the things that we have discussed are all noteworthy and important to be discussed, maybe in the future. But just a take note regarding about the carbon credit and the carbon market. I'm really sorry, Miss Tessa, to a little bit digress from that argument and maybe your take about carbon credit and carbon market. Maybe I also take note of Attorney Ping's note about carbon market. Maybe it's about time to also, this is a call for assistance from the government to also help us open the table for discussion about carbon market, because some people and some industry, some organizations, when they hear and see the eco-friendly, the environment tag line, it implies money, it implies cost, it implies added work, it implies sometimes delay. And carbon market probably is one of the answers. That's probably one of the answers to really to make it sustainable and maibalik natin especially to the IPs and to the all concerned groups what's due for them. So I think that would be my take about this discussion, and it also opens now for more discussion. Maybe we can talk about that in the future. And again, this has been your co-moderator for this session, Marty, now from the Silent Institute for the Environment.
Thank you, Mark. Alam mo,
Miss
actually, mas maraming questions na nag-surface sa akin kesa sa mga answers.
Correct.
Yeah, and alam mo, sumakit ang ulo ko kasi I remembered my friend who was telling me about her son, no? Yung son niya, syempre, she's looking forward to having grandchildren. Ganun. Pero yung isa niya, sabi na, don't expect any grandchildren from me because the way our survival is looking, yung the future is shaping up, sabi niya, I don't want to have to bring any children into this crazy world. Sabi niya, alam mo, nakakalungkot yun, di ba?
Correct.
Na parang, ayaw kong magkaroon ng anak kasi mahihirapan lang sila. Kasi ang mundong aabutan nila, napakahirap. No?
Exactly.
So parang kaya lungkot na lungkot ako tapos naririnig ko lahat ng problema na to, lahat ng challenges. Oh my God, talaga naalala ko yung friend ko na hindi na siya magkakaroon ng grandchildren. Parang lalo na ako nalungkot. Buti lang ako meron na. So, anyway, yes, we do need to discuss to keep talking about this, to keep looking at all the facets, all the angles, all the factors that affect and impact our lives and our future and the future of our children. And I'm just thankful to you all, our guests, our resource speaker, especially for sharing your knowledge and your insights, and also for those who are here who joined us to learn more about what we can do together, to create a better future for us and for our children. So I hope you will continue to come and bring others with you. Invite your friends. It's nice to have people talking together and moving together and working together for our common future. And so I hope you will all be back here next month for our February Kamayan Forum, which, by the way, will be on February 16. That is the Valentine week. Valentine's week, no? So, let's show
On-site
our...
na, Marie? Mag-on-site tayo sa Valentine's Week?
Mag-on-site, sana on-site. Anyway, but we are going to... Maybe that can be considered. Baka mas maganda hybrid kasi we don't want the people from other regions to be excluded, di ba? Pag nag-on-site ka, hindi na sila pwede sumali. So, that was one of the advantages of having this online. Ang dami-daming nakaka-panood at nakakasali, no? So, February 16, we hope to see you again. And thank you so much for the very stimulating discussions. We have to pray together, not just work together. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Happy New Year.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.